Robbie Williams Rewind.
Welcome to Robbie Williams Rewind. We are the champions. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lucy.
And along with help from special guest fans, we take you on an in-depth rewind through the solo career of multi-award-winning singer, songwriter and entertainer Robbie Williams.
Today we're talking about Robbie's historic return to Take That and their record-breaking Progress album. We may be a Robbie podcast, but we always said we would include Progress as it's a key part in Robbie's story, yes, and it highlights more of his great songwriting. But obviously on this occasion, along with his 90s bandmates for the first time. Yeah. So with us we have Angela from Scotland. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Angela.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
So I first met Angela in a Robbie queue in 2014 on the Swing Tour in Belfast.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I think we said hello because we were both New Kids fans.
Oh, yeah,
we recognised each other from that,
didn't we? We did, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 8 years ago now.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I maybe known you sooner than that. I remember maybe in the passing and all that, but... Yeah.
Well, we've spent a lot of time camping out before gigs, during gigs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Over the years.
So tell us what made you a Robbie fan.
So like you, Lucy, I'm a New Kids fan. So I was not really a Robbie fan initially. It was more to do with Take That. I remember buying Smash Hits 91, and I remember it was on the second page. I was like, oh. And then in Number One magazine, and then with that, they were up on the parade and bailing themselves.
Yeah.
And then I kept I always bought Smash Hits every other week, and I was Number One. Fast forward, just 17, I bought all the magazines back then. And it was more Take That, and it was like that, and I listened to Promises, and also watching the Ozone as well. So I always used to watch the Ozone. And I remember watching them Promises, and I thought Robbie was talking, and I'm like, he looks all right. He looks right nice. He looks and then, but it was Once You Tasted Love. We bought it Once You Tasted Love, and Robbie was in doing the rap, and I remember watching it. Goes, oh, he's got some gorgeous eyes. He's got gorgeous eyes, and then that and a smile, and it was like that. And he's got this cheery, chappy look about him. I was like, oh, he's really in. And then so from that, I became a Robbie fan from then, and then as the years went on, our room was covered in posters. Take That, New Kids, and then an individual with Robbie and Joey from New Kids as well. And that's when I went. And then once I remember when Robbie said he quit Take That, I came down to have my breakfast before I went to work that day, and I saw it in the teletext, and I was like that. I couldn't believe it at the time, and I was like, I was real so upset. My mum came. What's the matter? Says Robbie's left Take That. She said, oh, for God's sake, Angela, you're nearly 19. So when I went to see Take That individual concerts in Glasgow before then, but once Robbie did his solos, I started to see him. I saw him in Barrowlands the first night, when he did it in Barrowlands, and individual concerts when he came up to Scotland, like Glasgow, Edinburgh. So I was in between then, and then when he got up to Progress, I saw that tour 5 times. I always said that I'd go and see him. I wanted to see Take That as a 5 in Manchester, and I never really got. Well, I had tickets for the Nobody Else tour in Manchester because I had a couple of pen pals, one in Liverpool and one in Australia, and a couple of dotted about. I went to my friend in Liverpool, and we would go back and forward. And she was a Robbie fan as well, so she was gutted that he wasn't there. So I went to still went to see Take That as a 4, And I remember when they did Back for Good, when they did this in the cars and went in, and Howard's like that, oh, we'll always be around here as long as you want. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, no, you won't. You'll 6 months' time, that you was a flat, and that was August 1995. And I was right. 6 months later, they announced the split, and I thought, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming before they announced it. But then I kept on following Robbie. If it's always I say, it's always been about Robbie.
Good taste.
I know, but
So your love for Robbie grew through your original fandom for Take That, right from the early days, and then you had all those adventures and went to lots and lots of the concerts, and then it was Robbie all the way after that. But still Take That.
Yeah, well, I don't like to Take That. I mean, from like when they all went solo, and then I was like, and then kind of was like, wonder if they'll get back together. I mean, after about 2002, I thought, I wonder if they'll get back together, and it would have been nice. And like, and then I heard rumours back in 2005 that there was maybe the inkling that they would get back together. And then watched for the record, and then went to see them Take That in 2006. And I was studying for my ICCA at the time, my accountancy exams, and I finished my class in my college in Glasgow, and Take That were playing that night, and I had got a ticket last minute. And I went in and I stood at the barrier, and I saw them coming off the bus. It's like, oh, that was like getting that close to them. Well, back from late in 1994, I had like tickets for the 5th row.
Yeah.
So yeah, my love for Robbie grew through.
Excellent.
Through Take That, and I've always been a Take That fan. I always will be a Take That fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to see Gary say Different Stage a few weeks ago. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was really, really good.
Aww.
I recommend it to all fans, like Robbie fans as well. You'll laugh at it. You will laugh at it. You might feel emotional. You will feel emotional at it as well. But even Robbie fans, you will laugh at it as well.
Maybe you'll have to go again with me then, because I don't currently have tickets for that.
No.
Yeah, you will, Matt.
You're going.
You should go. You both should go.
Oh well, right. We'll have to go again then. Will you? That'll be hard work for you to go again, won't it?
No, you can always go to more than one. Go to things more
Going
than
to
once.
more than one event, unheard of.
Also, you had a little interesting story about Gary as well. Just while we're talking about Take That.
Yes. So
tell us about that.
Sounds interesting.
Well, back in 2015, when Gary was doing the weddings and that, I just thought, well, maybe he would do a birthday, because it was my 40th birthday in 2016. And so I had a banner last night. It was at Newcastle, so I got a banner. I said, "Will you do my 40th?" And I remember him. I was like near the B stage, so he was looking round and he seen it. And then a few months later, I went to see Robbie in Sydney. We managed to get barrier for Sydney, and I had a banner for Robbie, just an inkling of what I'll ask Robbie as well. If we do my 40th birthday party, so I had like in the banner. You can there's actually a video. It's at Sydney. I think it was the first night at Sydney, and it's a 360. You can actually turn the video and you can actually see my banner on the barrier. So and I had my picture when I got married to Robbie. Then Gary announced in February 2016 he was going to do like a party.
Yeah.
So from then we started doing
You got the Twitter campaign.
Yes, we did. There was a few of us. It was like Sarah, Kelly, everybody that I know, and like Robbie fans, Gary fans. Everybody would try to help me to get Gary to come to my party, and even Rob noticed in up front. He did notice that he had seen it.
Yeah.
We kept going with it, and then Sarah Hoyland, she was one that spoke the name to contact. So Gary contacted Sarah, said he would do it. Way back in British, yeah. So he was going to do it. And then 6 weeks before, just after the week after Hyde Park, because we met Gary and Mark and Howard when they were rehearsing for Hyde Park, and Gary said, "Oh," and I said to him, "You see my Twitter campaign? You see my Twitter campaign?" He said, "Yes, I certainly have." And he just gave me, said, we have a photo. He said, so we took a photo and that, and he gave me a hug. He says, I didn't say anything at the time. Then he said, "Oh," he said, "I've seen your Twitter campaign." And the week after, and Sarah messaged me and said, "Oh, Gary's not going to be able to make it." He said, because he's on holiday. I mean, it was a chance. I mean, it's August, and he normally goes away on holiday with his family. Yeah. I thought, well, what's the worst you can say is no. He said, but the best thing you can say is yes. So we did. I still had a good party. I mean, we did kind of like jokingly ask Rob, can you do it then and chat?
But you knew he never would. And what did Robbie say about it?
Well, I went to Loose Women in November 22nd, because I'd done just come back from Australia on a holiday, and that was at Loose Women Robbie special, and when they were not filming, Rob says, "You're a traitor." I would have done your party, but if you asked me to, I'm like, I did ask you. And he's like that, "You're a traitor." And I was like, oh no.
And didn't he say something like, "I thought I was your favourite"?
Well, yeah, he did. I went to meet him in Vegas, and in the meet and greet in Vegas, and he said to me, "Did Gary come to your party?" I went, "No, he didn't." He says, "I thought I was your favourite." I went, "Well, you are. You are my favourite. I think you just like to wind me up." I said, I'm your favourite. And it's like, and because I see the band, the Mad Musical, when I went to see the first time I went to see that, and they did in the break, Gary had tweeted everybody how you enjoying the concert, and I said, "Well, it reminds me when I was that age. That all I wanted to do was, when I was 16, was to marry Robbie Williams." And Gary tweeted me back, "You had a narrow escape."
Yeah, I think you did.
But then I told Robbie that. I said, when I was 16-year-old, I wanted to marry, and he went, "Oh." I don't want to marry him now, but I was 16-year-old. I did. That was all. That's what Robbie Williams.
But you kind of did. You kind of got to marry him on stage. Yeah. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, 2014, I went to the last O2 gig.
For the swing tour.
Yeah, the swing tour, swing both ways. So I went in with myself, and I was like a few people that I knew right around me. So yeah, I was just enjoying the concert, and I had my captain's hat I got from the Titanic Museum when I was in Belfast. Fab Museum. So I wore that, and then and then when he did the concert, Lucy's got a fab video, by the way, of me. This it's actually just the full thing. So he was walking around, and then when he went like that, he picked over me, and I went to myself, "Is he picking on me? Is he pointing at me?" He went, and he nodded his head, and I'm like, okay, right, and try to get all over the barrier. I was like, oh God, I'm never going to get over this. So I managed to get over the barrier with the help of some of the guys. And then he's like, "Put your hat on." So I put my hat on, and then I walked up the stage, and I was like, oh man, I was like so nervous. And he's like, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm somewhere in Scotland." I'm like, I was that. I found it funny because it's like a small village, a small town in the middle of Scotland. And he's like, "Angela, you're breaking my hand." And I was like that because I had gripped his hand so tightly, and I was so nervous. And everybody I knew it was around me was like, they were just shouting my name, "Angela, Angela." And then I walked up the stage, and then the front row, all I could hear was my name. Never mind Robbie's name. All I could hear was their name. Everybody, my name, my name. And then when they did the whole Robbie, they putting the veil on me, and then they gave me a big kiss, and I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, I never expected that to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. It happened.
You got great pictures of you and him on the stage.
I've absolutely got amazing pictures of me up on stage.
Because everyone on the front row was taking them
there's
for you.
Different perspectives of the videos. I've got your video, then there's a couple other people's videos.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So I just have to clarify for listeners that I think you actually got married to him on stage?
Is that
the point? Is that the punchline we're getting to?
It wasn't like properly married. It was just like they did the vows and that, and then we kissed the bride.
You had a veil on or something? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had the veil on.
He gave me a rose, which I couldn't keep the veil, but I kept the rose.
Nice.
So I didn't get married. I just got like, and then because he made a funny joke. He said, "Oh, Angela, will you take this man to be your?" And he's like an international pop star. Will you take this man? And I'm like, "Of course, yes, of course." And then he's like that. Robbie, you take Angela, be your wife. And I said, "Of course, we're going dogging after the show." I'm like. And then I even kissed the bride and all that. I literally just grabbed him and kissed him.
And if any of our listeners don't know what that means, look it up. Dogging, that is.
Man. I didn't actually know what it meant till I was like, what?
What a lovely memory.
I'm like, oh my God.
Cool. What a great moment with Rob.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had so many moments. When I first met Rob back in 2012, so it's nearly 10 years ago, and met him in Glasgow. I entered a competition for the Daily Record newspaper, and so I texted it, but I didn't just text once. I text 50 times. Wow. 50 times.
Oh. 50?
50
oh my God.
times, yes. I think 50.
Did you have to pay for each one?
Yes. £2.50. I go, £2.50 a text. But it was worth every penny.
Of course, because you won.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. And then the next minute, I looked at my emails and I was like, oh, you've won the chance to meet Robbie Williams. I'm like, oh my God. So then I won my sister back and said, oh, I've just won a competition to meet Robbie. And so I went into Glasgow that day was to meet him in Glasgow Fraser's, and it was all the street where the Fraser's is. It was all packed with fans, packed with people. So I went to Fraser's and he came in and he's like that. Hi Rob, he's like, hi babe, how you doing? So when we got in and we had to go and meet Robbie, and when I went in, he says to me, what did you do to win the competition? I said, it was a text competition. I said, I text like 50 times. He says, like, isn't that like £5 a go? I said, not quite, it's £2.50, but you're so worth it, and it was so worth every penny. And he's like, oh, and he gave me a big cuddle, and he was like that. He was wearing a grey cardigan. And I was like, so often I always remember the weird cardigan. And I've got some photos, and there's a photo of us two laughing, and it looks like you're like a meeting of our old friends. But that's what it was like. Yeah. That's what it felt like. You meet an old friend. That's what it feels like when you meet Rob. And you can just chat away to him. Because I've actually spent that when I was at Fraser's when he was in Farrell, I spent so much time talking to him. Josie came up and said, right, that's enough, right? That's the time to go now. Like, but yeah, it's like you just chat away. I mean, even the meet and greets, when I've done meet and greets with New Kids on the Block, and it's like basically you're in, take a photo, like chat for like a second, and then that's it. But the meet and greets in Vegas, it felt as though it didn't feel rushed. It felt so naturally and all that. So yeah, it was really, really good. Really, really.
Aww.
It's bad memories, and I can't wait to see him in Stoke live.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's been 2.5 years since he did the Christmas gigs.
So have you got a favourite song?
Oh, I've got a few of them. I've got a few favourite songs, but so I would say either Love Light, Eternity, or Coffee, Tea and Sympathy. They're my standout favourites. I mean, after hearing about what it was, Coffee, Tea and Sympathy is about, though, that can relate to my life, actually.
Well, it was good to see him sing it at the Under the Radar concert, though, wasn't it?
It was.
There was a few. I think there are some like songs that touch on like especially under the radar that kind of come really close, because Numb was really. I found that a really powerful song, and it actually made me cry, because at the time I wasn't in a good place at the time, and I was feeling quite down, and the lyrics of Numb, I think it was just too raw for me, and I just felt but I'm better now, but yeah, I am. Eternity. I could listen to Eternity over and over again. It's like listen to Back for Good. I could listen to Back for Good over and over again. Right. I love Back for Good, especially when they released the video of them behind the scenes. I don't know if any of you have seen that, the video behind the scenes.
I probably did, but I've forgotten it now. It's probably so long since I've watched it.
Well, when the video, it's really them laughing, and Robbie is going, Gary go, it's just that. I love them. I actually prefer that video now to the original version of Back for Good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so funny. I could listen watch that and make me laugh every single time. And also pray. I like pray as well.
Yeah. So tell us what Robbie means to you.
Robbie Williams means he means a lot to me. He picks me up when I'm feeling down. It's like a comfort blanket or something.
Yeah.
He picks me up, and I feel like I've been on a journey with him since the 90s. Yeah. Since the early 90s and up till now. When he's been up and down his life, and I've been up and down my life. So yeah, it feels like it does feel like an old friend. It does feel like a friend. Yeah. I've had a good pal there for a long time, and he'll always be there. And his music's brilliant, and he's actually a good performer on stage. I mean, he's not like his show is not like a big show like we Take That's got. So, but he's like a really good performer, and he's like, and when he interacts with everybody on stage, the fans, especially as in front of me, as a queue all hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he interacts with people on stage and all that. So it's like an old friend. It's like,
it is. Lovely. Okay, so should we move on to Progress then?
Let's do that.
Yeah? Okay.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So, Progress. Following all the rumours and hints during Robbie's Reality Killed the Video Star promo the year before, on the 15th of July 2010, it was announced that Robbie would be returning to the band. A joint statement between Robbie and Take That said, "The rumours are true, Robbie is back, and to celebrate, we've written and recorded a new album due for release later this year." Released on the 15th of November 2010, it was brought forward a week due to enormous pre-orders. Progress was the fastest selling album of the century at the time, selling 235,000 copies on its first day, 520,000 in its first week. It's still the third fastest selling album of all time in the UK.
Cool. Progress was number one in the UK for 7 weeks, including being Christmas number one, and was the best-selling album of the year. It's certified 8 times platinum and has sold 2.8 million copies. Progress was also number one in Denmark, Germany, Greece and Ireland, number 2 in Austria and Switzerland, and number 3 in Italy. It went 6 times platinum in Ireland, 3 times in Europe, 2 times in Denmark, and platinum in Austria, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands. It was certified gold in Sweden and Switzerland. All tracks were given equal writing credits by all 5 members of Take That. It was produced by Stuart Price, a legendary British producer, DJ and songwriter who's worked with Madonna, Kylie, New Order, The Killers, Scissor Sisters, Pet Shop Boys, and more.
Gary detailed in his book A Better Me that he knew the only way to keep Jason on board for another album after The Circus was to get Rob back. Jason had become good friends with Rob again, and Gary knew that if Take That weren't a 5, they'd become a 3. More importantly, Gary wanted peace for himself and Rob personally. So after they wrote Shame together in LA, Gary invited Rob to join them in New York a few weeks later for Mark's stag do, when they'd also be writing some new music. Rob initially told Gary, "It's such a long way back from here, I feel like I'm too far away from it all now. You guys are killing it."
But Rob did join the boys there in September 2009, where they wrote 12 songs in 3 days. At first, it wasn't a Take That reunion, but the forming of a new band called The English. Rob explained, "The idea was that we'd all be playing instruments and be a proper band and stuff. And they liked it, because I don't think any of us really liked the name Take That. And they were excited about the prospect of it being a totally new thing." From New York, Robbie went straight into promoting Reality Killed the Video Star, but his head and heart was with Take That. They reunited on stage at the Children in Need Rocks concert in November 2009 for a brief moment. Then the first time they were officially seen together in public as a 5-piece band again was at the Q Awards on the 25th of October, where they picked up a Hall of Fame award. The following day, they held a press conference announcing the tour.
Rob said in the Look Back, Don't Stare documentary, "This is the perfect time, the perfect moment for that thing other than being Robbie Williams to happen. And it just so happens that they're massive, and that's the way it's worked out. We don't need each other, we want each other. Ever since I left Take That, I've wanted to be in a band, so I might as well be in Take That. It would round something off that was left messy." Mark explained, "When Take That first got back together, Rob coming to work with us? If I'm honest, why would he? But we've managed to get ourselves into a place where the bridge was easier to walk over." Gary said, "If we hadn't come back as a band, we wouldn't have seen Rob again. We needed to come back as equals, with equal success back in a great place, and we're equals at the moment."
In Reveal, Rob described how he felt about people saying he'd only gone back to Take That because his career had faltered with Rude Box. "I feel a bit bruised and saddened by it. It's like, hang on, I've done 60 million albums and won 14 Brits, broken a world record for ticket sales, done 3 nights at Nebworth, and I'm nothing and I'm on my arse? It's just sensationalism for the sake of sensationalism. It's fucking pathetic and horrible to be perceptually cast aside like that."
Rob prepared for a month before going into the studio with Take That. He said, "I wanted to come with a heart full of lyrics and a head full of melodies. I just see Gary as a balladeer, and he turned up with all of this 1980-1981 stuff from when he loved his weird synth music. Take That had been writing some pretty epic pop songs that were genuinely touching the heart of the nation. I saw how I could add to that, still have it be that, but bring a slant to it that isn't there, slightly crazy, dystopian, apocalyptic, conspiracy theories and all sorts of wacky ideas and unhinged mentalness in the lyrics that wouldn't have been there." Rob told Q magazine, "If I write a hit, I do it by mistake. All of the big ones were accidents. But Gary Barlow writes them on purpose. All these verses, middle eights and bridges were glorious. I was gripped by the fundamental pop of it all."
Gary said, "It can't be us sounding like Robbie's last record, and it can't be us sounding like our last record. We've got to adopt some of what Rob does, we've got to adopt some of what we do and move this forward." Mark told his bandmates, "Is this album going to be a statement? Because I think that's what we should do. We've got to make this record that you just put on and go, oh my. Let's not go down the middle. Let's either be awesome or fucking shit.
That's true.
No in between. Gary described in his book A Better Me that the Progress of Man concept of the album was Mark and Jason's idea. We were on a coach in Amsterdam when Mark said, "I can see a giant man, a robot, a spiritual figure to aspire to, this evolution of man. It should feel like Christ the Redeemer that looks over Rio, towering over all of us in the middle of the stadium."
Enemy's review of Progress stated, "Take That have dealt with this curious situation by doing the unexpected and writing Progress, a deranged, triumphant, and quite crudely banging stadium synth pop record. Ballads, forget it. This is all wallop, driven along by Stuart Price's production, paddled, buttock, wobble beats, and hard, expensive synths. Every track still has a chorus that Swedish song factories would sell their grannies for, and most of all, there's a sense that Take That are genuinely challenging themselves here. While those groups who were once on the other side of the 90s indie versus pop divide are content to play their hits at festivals, it's Take That setting the pace. Progress, embrace it."
Take That have always set the pace. I feel
Yes.
even since they go back together, they have set the pace for other bands. I think they set the pace for New Kids on the Block coming back as well.
Yeah,
because they came back
I'd
in
agree,
2000 at the end of 2005, and New Kids on the Block came back at 2008. So I feel Take That set the pace for not just New Kids, for the most 90s bands back then.
Yeah,
back in the late
true.
90s.
True.
They did.
Yeah. And Q Magazine said it's a measure of their rediscovered ease with each other that Progress is front-loaded with Williams-led tracks. Progress is triumphant, musically, conceptually, personally. The circle is complete and stronger than ever. Take That have got Williams' rockstar charisma. Williams has got his mates back. Take That won Best British Group at the Brits and were nominated for Best Album. They won Best International Group at the Echo Awards and Best Live Act at the Virgin Media Awards. So, what are our overall thoughts on the album in general before we get into the tracks?
Well, I was just absolutely loving it. Just the fact that the five of them were back together was amazing, wasn't it?
At the moment they came back, it was like, this is amazing, and you can tell the momentum of it. It was just amazing to be. It was actually how ironic, because on the 15th of July 1995, Robbie announced he was leaving Take That.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was about
right.
then. Yeah.
Was it 15 years later, on the 15th of July 2010, Take That come back together.
Oh, poignant.
And I love the yellow look that they had for all of their, you know, the album cover, and just yellow sort of
very
going
distinctive.
through everything.
Yeah, I think that evolution, progress of man concept is just genius. So for Mark and Jason to come up with that, very, very clever.
Yeah, Mark's very good at coming up with those ideas, because they come up with the ideas for Circus and for Odyssey as well. He came up with all the. He's really very creative.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I think it's a masterpiece of an album, and you can tell. Obviously, from watching the documentaries around it as well, you know, they put such a huge amount of effort into it. They took it really seriously. They had a laugh, obviously, recording it. But what was it? 12 songs in 3 days?
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
that is what they said.
I think that's what I said. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, I know some songwriters do that, and they came in with some ideas already, but the amount of creative energy that they have is unbelievable. And I think obviously, you know, Gary is an incredible songwriter, and like Lucy was saying, you know, I think there was a quote that we said where, you know, Gary intentionally writes these number ones.
Yeah.
But I think the synergy of them all coming together was just, it was just something else. And I think it proved to them and to everybody else that they were the ones that running the machine, not anybody else, you know. And the only thing I would say here is I'm not sure I'm going to have quite as much to say as Lucy and Angela on the subject here today, because I was not. I mean, I've always liked to Take That, and I've always enjoyed Take That, but I wasn't like a lifelong fan like you two have been. So I'm still excited about it, but obviously I'm more of a Robbie fan in that respect. So I'll let you do all the talking on this episode.
Can I just say, on the album, like a meeting of the mind, it's like a meeting of geniuses, because the on creativity between the five of them, but meeting them as a five this time round was better than it was back then. Obviously they say that back in the floods, but back then they didn't all have a chance to have that meeting of minds and have that meeting of to do all that, contribute to the songwriting, because sorry Gary, but he was the one. Even Gary will admit that himself, though. Gary will admit that himself. Even he did that.
They never had a go at actually doing that, did they? They never had the chance.
Yeah, exactly.
For one reason or another.
I think it would have been if they had that chance to do that back then. It would have. I think it would have escalated more. But things happen, and when life goes in a different way. But I'm glad they had that chance to meet together with five individuals and have that creativity together. Yeah, because it's just a meeting of geniuses. It
is. It definitely is. So let's talk about the first song, The Flood.
Yeah.
Released as the first single on the 8th of November 2010, like the album, the release was brought forward a week due to extensive radio airplay and pre-orders. Despite shifting nearly 70,000 copies in its first week, it only reached number 2 in the UK, held off number 1 by Rihanna's Only Girl in the World and those pesky JLS boys with Love You More the following week. But it was number 1 in Portugal and number 2 in Italy, 3 in Belgium, Ireland, Netherlands and Norway. It was certified platinum in the UK with over 600,000 sales. It also went 2 times platinum in Italy and gold in Germany and Denmark. In the 2010 end-of-year chart, it was number 35 in the UK, number 5 in Denmark, 7 in Norway and 21 in Ireland. It's Take That's 5th best-selling single ever.
The Flood became about the 5 of them. Mark explained, it uses moments from history and time to tell the story of the band and the breaking down of the wall. It's that moment of us coming together. Rob said, the first time around, although it was precarious and unsafe within the band, there was still safety in numbers against pandemonium and hysteria that we faced everywhere we went, from our fans to journalists to our friends becoming used to us being famous, to our parents being used to us being famous. The only safe place was us 5 together, and even that was unsafe. But the Flood for me was all the outside forces trying to break the dam. And we were the dam. It was an epic sounding song and it needed epic words and a big melody. It was an exciting moment for something to come together so quickly. Me and Gary had done a couple of tunes before, but now Mark was in the mix and it was effortless.
Mark said, it was the first time I'd heard Rob and Gary cross voices and share a song. I know there's been shame, but it was the first time I'd been witness to that. They've both got great voices that can go anywhere melody-wise, and it was great to be able to take the song wherever you wanted.
Rob wrote much of the lyrics. He came upon a thread on the Above Top Secret website in 2009 called They Map the Stars and the Moon, and we call them cavemen, which he noted as a good lyric. He borrowed the first line, Standing on the Edge of Forever, from a title of a 1960s Star Trek episode.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that one.
I don't know that I've seen that one. Watch your mouth, kid, or you'll find yourself floating home.
Star Wars
is a line from Han Solo's Star Wars Episode 4. They changed it to, oh, you'll find yourself floating home, wash your mouth, son. Howard said, I think The Flood is probably the closest to the last Take That album, maybe the closest to the last Robbie Williams album. That's the step in between. And then you find a lot of other songs in the album that are a lot different to The Flood.
Gary spoke about it in his book. He brought an instrumental with no melody or lyrics to the first day of writing, when it was just him, Mark and Rob. It feels like a battle song, one we could sing with one arm in the air, feeling like kings. It's a song that could only have been written in that first nervous burst of creativity of us all back together again. It's like a relay. Whatever we do only makes it better. Mark tweaks the melody, Rob trims a lyric, and as this is going on, I can't help but see us on stage at Wembley Stadium singing this song. It's about our survival, despite everyone's best efforts to write us off. We'd all not only come out the other side, we carried on going too. Every one of us has our stories about being at the Brits and seeing an Oasis member look sideways at someone from Blur and snigger, or hearing an Arctic monkey call us bollocks. Doesn't matter how many albums you sell, pop is always the underdog. Don't forget the continuing theme. We're always trying to prove we're good because everyone thinks we're crap.
A lot of people think that, even though I've got friends that they're not take that fan, but pop is always the underdog. Indie on that, and rock always come above you.
Yeah,
it shouldn't. There's no reason for it.
There's no such thing as cool. It's all relative. You know, it is. People think they're cool. They think certain music's cool, but you know, who's got the ultimate right to say what's cool and what's not?
Exactly.
No one. The Flood was nominated for an Ivor Novello Award for Best Work and Most Performed Song. There you go.
Wow.
Right.
So, what are our thoughts on The Flood? Angela, should we go to you first? What do you think about The Flood?
I love this song. It's just from the start of it, it builds up, and then when Rob comes on, and it builds, when Rob builds it up, and then Gary, and then it just, and then on the chorus, and although no one understood, it just, it's like a pure belting song. It just makes you feel better from the beginning. It gives you goosebumps. I mean, I remember the first time it was on the X Factor, and watching them all the five of them together, it just gave me the goosebumps. I love the fact that it's like standing there for got that Star Trek theme, and then also with the Star Wars. I mean, I love watching sci-fi, but I love Star Wars. It also makes me smile when you were saying about it's got good Howard's got really good harmonies on this as well.
Yeah.
There's a bit in the song where in the chorus, and although no one understood, the dance in the rain. You know how there's a quote.
Yes.
There's life's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. I wonder if that is coming for that. Because every time I think of that song, every time I hear the chorus, I wonder, life's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's it's learning to dance in the rain.
Yeah,
I've always wondered that.
Thought.
I wonder if they've never mentioned that in any of the books. It's always wondered that.
It always makes me think of the Back for Good video, though.
Yeah,
because they're literally dancing in the rain.
Yeah. But it's a powerful song, absolutely powerful.
Very powerful.
It's amazing. I love how it starts with Robbie as well. You know, that Take That album starts with Robbie. And
that's a powerful lyric to start with as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just,
it's definitely one of Take That's best songs, I think.
Oh yeah. Mark does his wee Elvis thing with it. Here we come, Dark Star. I was like, oh.
But like you, I love as well how the song builds. Yeah. It's just, it's Gary masterpiece writing, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it is a great anthemic track. I mean, it's just from the beginning of hearing Robbie just saying "standing" at the start, all the way through. It sends a shiver down your spine. There's something about everything about it. Rob's vocals are incredible. The harmonies are epic. The musical arrangement just carries you along with it. You feel fully immersed into the song. The feeling for me is it's a bit like you've experienced a blockbuster Hollywood film in 4 minutes, 49 seconds. That's how I was thinking about it. It's like so epic and so big that I don't know how they've managed to contain that in just under 5 minutes of song. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a think about some of the lyrics, not all of them, and I'm sure that you two are far more expert on this than I am. And by the way, I love the opening to this track.
Oh, the thunder.
The rumbling thunder and the music building up into crescendo. It's just, you just feel bathed in the music. It's very clever. But yeah, I looked at some of the lyrics, so I'm trying to sort of figure it out. Now, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong.
Okay.
Here. So, standing on the edge of forever at the start of whatever. So, I'm assuming that's about the start of Take That.
Yeah, I'd say.
And probably
the start of their
new
journey
next
as well.
journey, yeah. Shouting love at the world. So, is that about singing love songs to the world with Take That? Lots of ballads in the early days
Probably.
About love and
I mean, not to try and give too many spoilers away, but there is something about that in Different Stage.
Oh.
Yeah. No, well, there is something about it.
Well, I better wait until I see that. So, and then back then we were like cavemen. So I was thinking, that was the early days. They didn't really know what was going on.
I think that's because they didn't really talk to each other properly. They didn't communicate. Yeah.
Lack of communication. Yeah. We were holding back the flood. I mean, I guess that's kind of obvious, but there's a flood of emotions.
Well, that's Robbie said that
the dam. Oh, the
dam.
The metaphor of the dam. We were the dam, and everything. Yeah, flowing towards us. There was more of them than us.
The other boy bands.
Ah.
Yeah,
that's
because back when it got to like 1993, you had like E17, 911, Bad Boys Inc.
Tons of them, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, and then that's it. It all built up, and then my cousin Bob kind of went away, and then you had Backstreet Boys. They started to come out in the Boyzone. Yeah, and then it just started escalating. So between 1992, you just had Take That and E17. New kids were out then, they were still in the background. There weren't many, and then 1993, they all started with all these other boy bands started coming, Boyzone and all that, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
There's only a few left now, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
They haven't all stood the test of time. Learning How to Dance in the Rain you talked about. Bleeding, None of Us Leaving. So I'm assuming that's kind of maybe feeling unhappy or not happy in the band.
Pain, but
not being able to do anything about it. Being under contract, kind of being forced.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember watching Back on Stage when Mark talked about that, because when after Robbie left, Mark said he didn't want to say anything because he felt as though he would just get because he was like the quiet one. He didn't want to say, "I'll just smile, I'll just smile." but but he did say, look back on stage at the fact that he felt as though if he said something, he would just get pushed out. And he did, and I was like, that's a shame. I mean, it's just the way they were treated back then.
Yeah. And then
you'll find yourself floating home. That's Nigel Martin Smith basically telling them you're replaceable.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and that links to the line. I'm going to skip the demons one because that's kind of obvious, but that links to the mind. So tiny minds and eager hands will try to strike out, but none will
land today.
So I think that's about controlling management, forcing them to do things they didn't want to do.
Also, I think that's
the system and the machine.
I think that's other like indie acts trying to put them down.
Yeah,
but they're too strong, and they're still going strong.
Yeah. And then there's progress now. The lads are progressing, and that's it. That's the end of my analysis.
Yeah, that's pretty good analysis,
good.
I'd say. Yeah,
that is really good. That is good. Yeah.
When they did it on Children in Need, it really, 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 really wound me up. And the director needs to be shot for how they produced that.
Gosh.
Because they were, they cut away and were showing like around the country. You know how on Children in Need they have all the local things. Yeah, and so Take That singing this song that they've never sung together before, and it's showing random people around the country instead of Robbie doing his bits for the first time ever.
There were words had around that, because that yeah.
Oh my God, I was so angry.
they've got like the exclusive performance of that with them,
and they're showing just like kids, just sort of and like random sort of dancers that have got nothing to do with it and aren't even doing the arm movements. Yeah, and stuff,
that's true. Yeah,
it rounded me up.
I've got a story, because when they did it on the tour, I went to see him on the second night in Sunderland, and it was so windy. Actually, that's it. That night it was so like wind and rain, and typical tour time. And they didn't start at the top of the stage. They actually just walked on the stage, and I was like, that moment of attached. But yeah, I've never seen them, so I didn't actually see them do it properly till the second time. The second time I think I'd seen them in Manchester, and then saw them actually come downstairs and Robbie doing his epicology.
Yeah, when he came down on the harness, what's it called? The
controlled descent.
Controlled descent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. Also, another really great performance of The Flood was when they did it on the Royal Variety performance, and they're surrounded by about 100 male dancers, all just wearing underpants, flesh-coloured underpants.
Yeah,
you remember that well, do you?
Yeah, I remember that one. That's a good one to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, I think watch that again.
So, should we talk about the video?
Yeah, let's talk about the video, because we'll end up spending the whole podcast on the flood.
Because you could just do the whole podcast on the flood.
The video was directed by Matt Whitecross, an award-winning film and documentary maker who's worked with Coldplay and the Rolling Stones. It was filmed in July 2010 on Dorney Lake in Buckinghamshire, as well as on the Thames. Their 5-seater sculling boats were made especially. Their boat was called Progress, and even though photos leaked of them filming it, no one cottoned on to the fact that was going to be the album's name. They lose the race, but end up coming past the finish line, all the way along the Thames and into the sea. So, Lucy, what do you think about the video?
I just love it. I love the matching outfits, like boy band-esque matching white outfits. That's the long white socks pulled up, the side partings, the smouldering looks, carrying the boat. I just think it's just a really great video. Really, yeah, just love it.
I love the fact that when they walk in, they're holding the pot, and you see each of them, like the typical boy band. You see them walk in, and see is it Gary, Mark, Jason, and Robbie. That's like the typical when they did the 90s. So. It was that. I loved that bit when they came down, and then you see Mark smiling. Mark's just so elated that it's all back to 5.
Yeah.
I had a look at it on YouTube, and it's got 46 million views.
Oh, has it?
Wow.
46 million. And I seem to remember how random it was at the time, or I found it random at the time, for them to be in a rowing team. I mean, it's like, where did that idea come from to be in a rowing boat? But however, the more I think about it, the more appropriate it is. You know, I guess when you're in a rowing team, it's a team sport, and you have to put your all into it. It's tough, it's hard. You know, you all have to put the same kind of effort in. And I thought it was a clever touch for the boat to be named Progress as well. I think
also they say
quite fitting.
You know also what they say: teamwork makes dream work.
Ah.
Oh yes,
good saying.
There's no I in team. And the thing is, they didn't win. So I think I remember when I first watched it, it's like, what? You know, it doesn't make sense. But then they carried on, and I think that's because they're in it for the long haul, and they went all the way through. They kept going down the Thames. They weren't just there just to win once. They were there just to keep going, you know.
To be the ultimate winners.
They went down the Thames, through London, past the Houses of Parliament, under Tower Bridge, past O2, through the Thames flood barrier, and then out into sea. which is only about, 20 miles of rowing or something, or more. So, shall we move on to SOS?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
In their track-by-track discussion of Progress, Gary said, SOS is panic, help, the world's gone mad. Rob said, for me, it was an amalgamation of internet conspiracy chat rooms and is there a global warming or isn't there? Is there going to be a 2012? Because it feels like everything is feeding into Armageddon. We're untrusting of everybody, the panic's tenfold and getting quicker and quicker. Mark explained, SOS is about what do we trust? Who do we trust? Do we even trust ourselves? It was one of those moments as we were scatting around the verses, when we got to the chorus, everyone went the same way with the same melody. It was like it was just written.
There's some beeps in the song which spell SOS in Morse code, which I can't say I've noticed, but apparently there is. Without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed and no republic can survive, that bit of the song, is taken from a speech by JFK in 1961. If you haven't seen it, check out their performance of SOS on the Royal Variety Show. Rob had a megaphone and he suddenly appeared in one of the theatre's boxes and Mark had a great big weird round microphone. It was a really good performance. You remember that one?
I was actually going to mention about that because not so much of the flood, but the one where they did the megaphone where Robbie's standing at the corner like that, pure shouting.
Yeah.
That was like
it's just funny because it's a Royal Variety performance. Exactly. You don't expect it.
The first what the Muppets used to be like
opposite.
Yeah, they were like
opposite the Royal Box.
Yeah, opposite the Royal Box. He's like, and he appears out with a first like one of the Muppets would appear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah. So Matt, what do you think of SOS?
Well, bit like the flood. I like the way the thunderstorm continues from the flood.
Yeah.
So Angela was saying earlier on, this album kind of flows. It's really clever how it does that. Mm-hmm. All the songs link, which is cool. I'm guessing. Well, we just talked about it in the description there, but it's a song about a world in trouble, mind control, politics, apocalypse, serpents eating you whole. A 5-second warning, the levee breaking, Manhattan sinking. No antibiotic can save us now. We are the virus that we all talk about. It's kind of poignant with what's happening in the world now.
Yeah.
Just it could have been ahead of its time because of what's happened.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. I said it's like take that prophesized COVID and war.
It's interesting because we've talked about it before with Rob's lyrics.
Yeah, you have. Actually.
If humans were not on the planet would survive just fine.
Yeah,
we're a bit of a blight on the planet, but
yes.
I guess we've got to figure it out somehow.
And also, there's a bit on saying liberate your sons and daughters.
Yes.
Lines come out in different other songs, like Candy, and then there was the SOS, and was it not in another song as well? In Bridbox?
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually,
liberate your sons and daughters.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that.
And I think the combination of Mark and Robbie's vocals work well here. And when Rob jumps in with, you'll get a 5-second warning for divine intervention, the satellites are falling, prepare for ascension. Love the fact that Robbie's getting his favourite word satellite in there, or his filler word satellite that he uses, fits, works. Yeah, I like it. Who's going to go next?
Angela?
Well, I think I didn't realise how powerful and the words that are from, but it is like a powerful song, and I love the fact that they done that with the Royal Variety performance because it was like, again, it was so powerful. And it does flows on from the floods. I loved watching it. It's an amazing song live, especially when they done it in tour as well. It's just such a powerful song. Such a powerful song.
I love Mark's voice on it. I love
Yeah,
Mark.
I like the way they've done it with Robbie and Mark. I mean,
Yeah.
more with Robbie and Mark.
Yeah, let's have more Robbie and Mark songs.
I love the band.
They do combine very well together on it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did back then, and they still do now. And I love that interaction with Robbie and Mark. It's like little lads, and it's so funny with them both.
And I never actually realised that Mark was saying "and Manhattan sinks." I thought he was saying about the mountain sinks.
Yeah, I thought that he said that.
I'd never noticed that before. Yeah, but apparently it's Manhattan sinks. Yeah, it's just great chorus, isn't it? It's got an amazing beat. I love the kind of bleeps and weird kind of vibe of the song, which suits the apocalyptic nature of the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's just like a banger that makes you want to dance around when you listen to it, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a very energetic song, yeah. And when you're actually at the gig, everyone just goes for it.
Yeah. As I say in Scotland, they get loudy. They get loudy.
Loudy,
get loudy. Give it loudy. Give it loudy.
Oh, okay. Oh. I'm not going to attempt to say that. And also, I just feel like it's the start, like this song after the flood. It's the feeling that this is going to be like a credible sort of man band album, rather than the boy band pop that people might have been expecting. This is where their album's heading.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated in that way, isn't it? It's not just like cheap, easy pop.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
And a little side note that Rob's drummer Carl Brazil played the drums on this track.
Really? Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow! That's interesting. Wonder if that's the reason why he came on to be band members. Because he wasn't before.
No, he was already.
He wasn't before. He wasn't. I think
he was before.
Was he?
What came before this? In and Out of Consciousness.
And Consciousness.
Yeah, he was with him by then.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
should we go on to the next song? Wait.
Yeah. I'm waiting. Sorry.
Silly joke.
You told me to wait. I'm waiting. Anyway, I love my dad jokes. Wait was the first song that all 5 members of Take That wrote together. It took about an hour in total. Oh, just an hour. Only an hour.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Howard said, I had this sample from Africa Bambaataa. I said to Gary, because I'm with 3 talented writers, I wanted to be a real part of it. And the only way to be a part of it was to push myself forward. Gary's always encouraging me to do so. I gave him this idea and we worked on the bass line together, got a backing track. Everyone else came in, loved it. Everyone else was chipping in with melodies to it, and the whole song came together quite easy.
Rob said, and the lads were really good to me because I'd had the whole Rude Box debacle, the rapping Robbie, and the first thing I did was the scatters. Oh no, you're turning into cannonballs. I got to the end of the first verse and I went, I can't do that, can I, lads? And they went, why? And well, Rude Box, and it's a bit rappy, isn't it? And people say I can't do it. Jay said, no, get back on the horse. Oh. I don't even think it's rapping, but people mistake it for being rap.
Oh, that's good. That shows how after Rude Box and he fell, and that's like a good encouragement. It's like, no, come on.
Because they know that he can do it.
Yeah, they know he can do it. And then, come on, you can do it. You can do it. You know you can do it. Oh, that's so nice. That's
Mark said, what I love about that song, it just makes me go, it's us again. The lyric, wait, there's something that I want to say. There's always a root of our relationship, trying to develop our relationship further while we make this record. Gary said, it's actually the best pop record on Progress and the first time all 5 of us sat in a room and picked away at this carcass and made this a great song. So what do we think about Wait, Angela?
I like how stories you've come up with, because I didn't really know what it was all about, but I like the fact all of them have they all chip in, and they all sing to it. Because Rob's in it, and Mark's in it, Howard's in it, Gary's in it. Jason, I don't know if he's in it, but they've all got their own bit to it, and that's what I like about it. I like it's in this. It's like they have all got something to say. They have got something to say about it. Yeah.
I think the instrumental bit at the start, you know how it sort of starts off slow and kind of not slow, but just all sort of
it's
nice,
30 seconds of orchestral opening.
Oh, okay. You wrote it down. Well, that kind of
it flows in from so it's like
from
SOS is
it
like pure boom, like and then it comes down, it calms down. So that then from wait and then it goes up to the next one. But so it's like a roller coaster. So it comes down, and then to build you up again.
Yes, it does, because it makes you almost think it's going to be like a sort of pop kind of song about to start, and then suddenly the beat kicks in, and it's taking you off again on this amazing journey, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I love that, like you said, Angela, it's like you can hear all five of them kind of harmonising on this record. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I like the line, "Oh no, I've fallen off a pedestal, and your selective memory is really quite incredible. When you get forgettable, I'll try being wonderful, yet totally inedible."
I like Lucy, love that 30-second orchestral opening, the blend, as you say, from SOS into this, it's really good. And then how it mixes into the electro beat just a second or two before the vocals kick in. Like say, it's just a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
I just love the whole electronic vibe to the song. The harmonies are superb. I think it's very, although they wanted it not to be take that, the harmonies are very trademark.
Yeah,
in this song in particular.
Absolutely, can't get away from that. It's like boy bands.
And they're great.
Yeah.
It just works.
Bands.
And I really like Robbie's, whether it's a rap or not, whatever it is, I like that bit at the beginning. It's cool. And then the bit I found interesting also was these words have never left a mouth. We never got to get it out. Communication not allowed. Some things we don't talk about.
That's interesting because again, it's going back to the 90s. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to communicate. You're not allowed to say this. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I liked because we've become mechanical and hollow. I seem to make you miserable. That sort of follows on from that as well. It's like how they were in the 90s. They were just following what they were told to do and what they had to do. Yeah. But actually,
especially living with an Eskimo.
Yes, I live with an Eskimo. Yeah,
whatever that means.
Well, I guess it's cold and unfeeling. That's what I thought it meant.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Not that Eskimos are probably unfeeling, but I'm sure they're cold.
It's the cold kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
So have we said what we want to say about weight?
Is there something that you want to say?
No, I think we've said it all. Said it all. Can I just say that I do love Said It All as well? It's one of my favourite Take That songs.
Dear, we could just do the whole next few sentences in song titles.
Yes.
And lyrics. Why don't we progress on to Kids?
Okay.
It's just not funny, is it, really? But it is funny. I'm sure the listeners will be sat there going, what on earth are they talking about?
Okay, Kids.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
The second single of Progress, released on the 21st of February 2011. It reached number 28 in the UK, 8 in Hungary, 12 in Denmark, and 20 in Germany. Mark told Radio 2, "I think Kids is a generation song. It's a look back through time. It's got a history in there. It's about where we are in this society as people. It's putting our hopes in future generations to save us all, to get us out of the mire." Gary described spending 2 days working on some backing tracks with Howard. This was one of those backing tracks that was unlike the finished product. It was more of an atmosphere, but it had the chords. And out of the ones that we'd spent 2 days on, and the one we'd spent half an hour on, that was the one that everyone liked. It pretty much grew in the studio in LA.
Howard said, it's one of those tracks you can put on and everybody was running into the vocal booth, doing different ideas. I was whacking the drum, doing beatbox. It was a really good time. Mark said, that was when we were starting to get a picture for the album. Almost a concept was starting to develop of where the album was going. Kids especially was one where we were putting the song together. The room had stopped being a studio, and in my head it was almost this massive hall, and we were back in Renaissance period, and we were all walking around in robes, standing on plinths, in Speaker's Corner kind of vibe. That's where my head had gone as a visual.
It's quite funny. That,
Mark is a creative,
definitely a creative
mind, isn't he?
According to press reports, they were supposed to sing Kids on the X Factor final, but Simon Cowell stopped them due to their 50 backing dancers being dressed in riot gear. This was around the time there were clashes between students and police due to rising student fees, so Simon said it would be inappropriate for an entertainment show. So they performed The Flood for a second time instead. Thankfully, we got the riot gear performance on the Brits instead.
Yeah. They did. Yeah, because I actually remember that. But I don't know if I can't remember. But there was a lot of riots back then in London. I remember the main riots in 2010 and 2011. But there was a lot of riots in 2010 because I was worried about because I was meant to be going down to London in November 2011 to go see Roxette at the time, and I was like, oh no, and I was going down myself, but I was meeting friends down there. I was like, oh. But it all calmed down by then. But yeah, it was like I don't remember because we were supposed to sing Kids, but when they did it in the Brits, they did it amazing on the Brits. So I love watching that video, watching it back. And then the way that they go all disperse themselves at the crowd, and then they come back on the stage and Mark waving the flag. And then they do that, and when they did that in the tour, they were bringing different flags, because when they did it at Hampden and Glasgow, Mark came in with the Scottish flag and the cross and like that. Oh, that was just amazing. That it was just really good.
Cool. So Digital Spy gave Kids 5 stars and called it a rabble-rousing, glam disco pop stomper with ambiguously apocalyptic lyrics and not inappropriately one hell of a chorus. Comparing Mark's vocal to Liam Gallagher and calling the song one of Take That's most thrilling releases.
Wow. We compare it to Liam. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
What do we think? Yeah, I know. Don't know if he would have liked that or not. But what do we think about Kids? Do you want to start, Lucy?
I can start, yeah. Well, so for me, this song, first and foremost, brings back...
There's a reason why I made you start.
Yeah.
Asked you to start.
Brings back memories of our daughter's birth. Because I had a planned C-section after having had an emergency one with our son.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when we had the emergency one with him, they had the radio playing in the theatre, which is fine. But it meant that when he was born, the song that he was born to was Is This the Way to Amarillo by Peter Kay? Because that is what came on the radio at that time. So I was like, I'm not having that again. So I said, they said, you can bring in music that we can play in the theatre. So I was like, oh, okay, great. So
guess what Lucy selected?
So I chose Progress, of course.
Oh, right.
I chose the album Progress because she was born in February 2011.
Yeah.
And so I remember having like the epidural and all that, and it wasn't very nice. And then I got wheeled into the theatre, still kind of awake. Well, no, I was awake for the whole thing, wasn't I?
You were.
And as I got wheeled in, the flood started. And immediately, the sound of the flood and Robbie's voice, this like wave of just calm kind of came over me. It was amazing. It just really... it made me feel so much better.
So you can work out that you were in there for 3 or 4 tracks before
exactly before Chloe was born during Kids.
Oh wow!
So what a song to be born to. There'll be trouble when the kids come out.
When the kids come out. Oh my god, that's so.
So yeah, this song forever takes me back to that moment, and also when they performed it at the Brits, she was like 2 weeks old or something, 10 days old, and I didn't feel very well at that time. Had terrible mastitis, and I felt like I had the flu, and I can remember vividly sitting on the sofa with her in the Moses basket next to me, Take That coming on, and just sobbing because I was so emotional of like just feeling absolutely awful, and then Take That coming on with Robbie and everything, and just suddenly feeling on a high, and then not really being able to handle the emotions and just crying.
She wept for 3 days. No, she didn't.
So yeah, very, very big memories for this song for me.
Yeah. So it comes on, that's immediately what we think about.
Yeah.
It just, you can't have any other memory, can you, other than Chloe being born.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
But it's a great song anyway. It's not just the memories of it. It is an amazing song. I love it. I love Mark singing.
Yeah, me too.
It's just a great, great song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Angela, what do you think?
Oh, I think this is an amazing song. The bit where mirror with mirror, mirror.
Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall.
That's Snow White, but back when in 2009 I was working with a company in Glasgow, and my boss he was like joking, like him. He would always say mirror, mirror on the wall. It was like when it was just a bit of banter between us all, but he used to say mirror, mirror, and I'm like that. Every time I hear that line, I don't think of Snow White. I think of my old boss saying that. Like, he used to say that, like, and then when time progressed, it came out. I'd left that company and I went to another company because I was only on maternity leave cover back then. And I was like that. I never actually mentioned. Remember that? What you used to say? Listen to that album. But yeah, they'll probably listen back. Remember that? They'll remember that line.
Yeah.
Remember what we said back in the office, because I knew they all knew in the office I was a big how much I Take That fan I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Robbie's back, like, I know, yes.
What do you like about it, Matt?
Well, obviously, it's nice to have that memory attached to the song, Chloe. There's another good 30-second instrumental intro here. So there's the marching, the guitar, the piano, the la 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 la. That bit, brilliant. Just great opening to a song. So again, it sends shivers when you hear it.
Yeah.
And Lucy knows that I love Mark's "What You Looking At." Want a bit of that? I love that bit. There's something special about that, and I always try and sing it in my best Mark Mancunian accent every time it comes in on. What you looking at? It's there's something about that line that I love, and it annoys Lucy sometimes, but I have to sing it out loud.
It's like a typical kid. What you looking at? Kid. What you looking at? You want a bit? You want a bit of that?
You want a bit of that?
Yeah.
But it's funny how it's coming from Mark. Anyway, I love that bit.
It's kind of a line that you will sing in the house, isn't it? If that song comes on, everyone sings that line.
I've actually got a misquoted lyric for that song.
Oh, go on then.
You know when they say they're down on the streets tonight, they're making peace tonight. Well, I always thought they're making bees tonight. Bees. It sounds like they're making bees. I'm like, why do you think that they're making bees? I'm like, I always thought, until I properly listened to the song, I thought it was saying they're making bees tonight. And then when I actually watched the when they were on the Brits, and then they came out as in peace gear, making peace tonight. But then I said that makes sense now. No making bees tonight.
It's just got such rich sounds in this song, isn't it? With the boots marching, and the sirens, and the kids, and
it's so multi-layered and rich. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So with that segue, shall we move on to the video?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
The video was directed by Matt Whitecross again, alongside Iran Creevy, an award-winning film director who's worked with Ronan Keating and Utah Saints. It was shot in Bulgaria. Take That appear as conquering heroes from different ages of war. They come to Earth in a Take That logo-shaped spaceship called Progress, with Gary as the captain.
Of course,
Gary is
Captain Barlow.
Yeah,
because he is the captain.
Yeah.
Aye, Captain.
I love the video.
I love the fact that come
cool,
down
isn't
in
it?
the spaceship, because I love sci-fi as it is, and
yeah.
They come back down from space, and they come down into space, and everybody's like, I'm wondering what's going on, and then the spaceship lands, and they all come out. And who comes down in the BMX? Who comes down?
Robbie.
I thought it was Robbie or Jason.
Yeah. Cheeky look on his face. Well, a half cheeky look on his face. He's trying to look serious, but you can tell he's a bit cheeky with it.
Yeah.
Riding that BMX around. I love the way that Jason is on the spaceship drinking a cup of tea looking down onto Earth. He's got this really decorative teacup and he's just there sipping it, looking
Jason,
down.
though. That is very Jason.
Brilliant.
He's very, very decadent and very posh. Like, he's just chilled. Jason's chilled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's got Howard on his DJ decks as well.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Mark's doing. Mark's just kind of singing, isn't he? I don't think there's a little joke around him.
No. He's just there. And then they pose for cheesy photos. There's a little boy that comes forward with his camera.
Yeah.
And then there's photos of them posing with different aliens at the end.
Yeah.
I think Rob must have loved it because it probably links back to his UFO and sci-fi sort of fascination.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a great video. It's really eye-catching and loads going on, and amazing.
And it's quite handy that when that big spaceship, when the spaceship comes down, there's like that thing that it comes down on legs, doesn't it? And then stands above all the skyscrapers, and then this lift kind of comes down that doubles as a performance stage. You know? It's quite nice that looked like that. Yeah, so basically the aliens come down to Earth, sing their song, and then return back to space again.
Yeah, I think so. It's a fun video. I like it.
It is fun. It's different. Let's talk about Pretty Things.
Okay.
Gary explained that he'd written the backing track for Pretty Things at his mum's house over Christmas with the intention of taking it to LA in January for them to work on. But instead, they'd written Happy Now, Kids, and 8 Letters. Then they went to Real World Studios in Bath in February and finally wrote Pretty Things. When they sent Pretty Things to Stuart Price, he told them they'd completed the album.
Rob said, Pretty Things for me was I was out of shape and I'd been a pop star at some point with muscles and hair that was black and boundless energy, and I found girls sexy and some of them were into me too. Then all of a sudden, I was depleted of energy and the hair was going grey and I felt un-pop star-like. It's about going down King's Road on a Friday night and going, oh God, that's a nice skirt she's got, it's very short, and then smiling at them like you used to do. And they're looking at an old man smiling at them.
That's a Robbie quote, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you talked about that in Woodbox as well. You talked about Pretty Things where she's Madonna. Was that when they talked about? Yes. You talked about that. Back then.
Yeah.
Mark said, at one point, we were the new generation, which is what Kids is about. And then we're the older generation, and we're looking back, and they're coming up behind us. Gary joked, there's always a younger model.
Yeah, there always is.
So what do you think of Pretty Things, Angela?
Again, that album's, it's went from like upbeat with Kids, and then it's come back down to Pretty Things. So I always, like I say, I didn't really know what the song was about, but it always seemed to be like when the looking at different, look at what all these women throwing themselves at them, and then it's like that. It's the strangest line. I love those hips. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, and then watching the window cleaner, the window cleaners watching them or something like that.
Oh, a New York window cleaner
staring at you. Yeah. It's quite random.
Grip like a New York window cleaner, just staring at you.
Yeah.
But it's quite a random song. I like it. I like the song. But it's just random lyrics in it.
Yeah, there are some random bits in it. Yeah, because suddenly you go from a New York window cleaner to Fulham Broadway Station.
Yeah. But I that line, at Fulham Broadway Station, I see them every day, all day. I used to actually travel through Fulham Broadway Station to work every day for about a year.
Yeah.
And I have to say, there is a certain type that live in Fulham Broadway. Certainly, like the richer girls and sort of daddy's girls could afford to live there.
And that, wearing skirts and
all trying to look like models.
Yeah, there was a certain type of girl that would get on there.
And all that, all the makeup on.
I have to say, I did work with a couple that lived there as well, working in PR.
Makeup not out of place and the hair not out of place.
Exactly. I like the line, youth don't leave me, hair stay on me.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah.
Neither of which actually are going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you lose both. Irony.
Oh, memory, don't forsake me. Not like this. No one wants to lose their memory.
Oh, no, nobody wants to lose their memory. No.
What did you say?
I said no one wants to lose their... Oh, God,
I got her again. Oh, dear.
Ma. Oh, God.
I really can't remember what you said.
You're terrible, Ma.
Terrible jokes.
Oh, dear.
It kind of makes me feel like it's like sort of weird doll's house music. I don't know why.
It does actually. It does.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah, it's like or a jewellery box. You look a jewellery box and it comes up this music.
Yeah.
It does have that feel to it.
That's what I was trying to think of. You're right. That's a better description than Doll's House.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
I do really like the song. I like Rob's vocal. He's got a really nice deep tone, hasn't he?
It's got a lovely voice.
It's quite a deep song, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I love this lyric. I guess it sums up the whole song. All those pretty things. Don't sweat the pretty things. So collectible. Why not collect them all?
Yeah.
And then I also like the line, download a little meditation. It might pull you through.
Well, that's, meditation always helps. Yeah.
Yes.
It does. Yeah.
Yes. Take a mindful pause. You may be able to carry on.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I do kind of feel like it's a little bit sort of creepy. Like old men looking at young women. Do you know what I mean? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
well, I think it's a fact of life, though, isn't it?
That, of course.
I think that's a fact of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You know, they're getting older, but they still appreciate the pretty things.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't even that old then.
They don't want to lose their youth. They still want to be like hip and young and be able to pull a young lassie, a young girl, and be able to still be hip and cool, but they're not. They're not.
They are. They're still.
Well,
cool.
they are, but I'm just,
it's a relative term. I told you that earlier on.
Yes.
No one decides on who's cool.
Yes.
Some guys think, they can just they look at it and they're older, they say in their 50s and say, could make a nice girl that's in their 20s and but I mean,
and that guy still thinks that they look 25.
Yeah, but each to their own. I mean, that's happen, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just, I wouldn't do it.
So, have we talked about pretty things?
Yeah.
Yeah, happy with that?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's move on to Happy now.
Yeah.
The third single to be released off Progress on the 18th of March 2011, where it reached number 52 in the UK.
What?
It was only really...
Yeah.
I mean, you said 28, and I'm like, why did it not?
Angela is shocked.
Why is not?
No,
Shocked.
Matt's going to explain.
It was only released as a digital download and was the official Comic Relief song.
Yeah.
So it was just a download. It wasn't like a CD release.
Oh, so at the time it didn't get all the counts that it could get if it was.
Yeah, because most people already had the album as well. So why would they download the single?
Oh,
I have got the Flood single, and I've got Kids single as well. I didn't have Happy Now, but no, I don't
But that's why.
Yeah.
Just digital, yeah.
Yeah. So this started as a fully formed backing track that Gary had written, and they worked on the lyrics together in LA. Rob said, "There's an awful lot of instruction songs out there, and I wanted to do the opposite of it. I'm in the back of a club and I'm afraid to speak because I'm not like these people and these people are not like me. It's the anti-social disco song, the opposite of we're all in this together having a good time. It's the schizophrenic, depressed version of an upbeat pop song."
Mark continued, "It's the twist between the two. The chorus, the lyric just came with the melody. It was anything that had to be talked about, really. But then the juxtaposition of that was the melancholic verse. Howard said it was one of the best songs on the album. It's one of my favourites. There's a lot of energy to it, especially because the verses are quite robotic. Then all of a sudden, when it hits Gary and the bridge, you don't expect it because it goes on this melodic journey."
Gary said that they wrote it on his backing track, but that Stewart changed it completely. It made it mean more with what the lyrics was. It darkened the music. It was dirty. It's miles from the demo. So there, what do we think of Happy Now, Angela?
Oh, I love this song. It's such a just the way it goes, and then it goes up to the chorus.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just a great dance tune. You can dance away in the room and that. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good, and I love the video for this. This video's so hilarious. I remember watching it in Comic Relief, and I was like, "That it's so funny. It's so funny."
Well, should we talk about the video now that Angela's mentioned it?
Yeah. So the video was directed by legendary screenwriter Richard Curtis and film director Tom Harper, who's worked on Peaky Blinders. It shows Take That holding auditions for their own tribute act, Fake That, and includes Alan Carr as Mark, James Corden as Gary, John Bishop as Rob, David Williams as Howard, and Catherine Tate as Jay. Sorry, David Williams, just the thought of him doing it just makes me laugh.
I mean, he was so Howard.
Yeah.
He's got that unique thing of Howard. Yeah. I thought it was, I did think it was strange how they had David Williams as Howard, but thinking back, because Howard's quite tall and he's quite muscular, David Williams is perfect for it.
Yeah. So they impersonate the band in their Do What You Like, The Flood, Pray and Back for Good videos, with the real Take That heckling them at first, but then loving them. John Bishop even had Rob's B tattoo and seemed to take it all very seriously, playing it cool. There's a great ending where the real Take That leave the shoot in full-on Do What You Like clothes.
Yeah, I love that.
Really
I love that.
them,
And they've actually pictures. Pictures of that in their Do What You Like gear, because Howard had the codpiece on. And like,
Yeah.
that was so good.
It's a brilliant video, isn't it?
But when you say it, when you talk about back in the club, I wonder if Gary's talking about when he started out, when he's started out as a musician, and he was back in the club when he was doing his bit. Yeah. So I wonder if he's talking about that though.
Yeah. It's quite nice to have Gary taking a bit more of a lead on this song, because there hasn't been much Gary. yet.
No,
is there?
not much.
No.
Not much.
No, I think he purposely stepped back by the looks of it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he not necessarily step back. There's a lot of Gary working a lot in the background, like doing the producing.
yes,
Yeah.
just didn't take lead vocals so much. Yeah,
He did harmonise
he does a
lot.
load of other
He
work.
harmonised
Yeah,
a lot as well.
yeah. I really like what Mark said about because this is the bit I picked up on my notes. I love the moody sort of off-key beginning to it. So when Mark says the juxtaposition of the melancholic verse, there's a surge in my psychosis every turn of the screw. That it's really like down and dark and sort of almost off-key, and then it just bounds into happy now, and it's just a real happy, fun, jaunty song, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really contrasts with those spoken lyrics from Rob, and you just can't. It's got a chorus line that you have to sing along to.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, and dance.
I'm feeling happy now.
Yeah.
I like in the world of dreams, I'm a frequent flyer. I like that line.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love how it like slows down and kicks back in again for the chorus.
I can only imagine what a laugh they had filming that video, though.
my God.
I mean, obviously we see the clips of the boys being serious and sort of heckling and criticising them at the desk there, which was probably some of that could have been a completely separate shot, of course.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine what it must have been like watching the comedians prancing around on stage. I mean, I'd imagine that must have been in fits.
Yeah.
It must have been hard to film.
Oh, Jim Corden, he was really good at Gary, though. He was really good at Gary.
I bet he was loving it.
James Corden is he's a big Take That fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a big Take That
Huge.
fan. Yeah.
And
Massive.
Robbie, he's massive fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's super fan.
It's brilliant. It's worth watching again if you haven't seen it for a while.
Definitely.
And obviously, for anyone that isn't in the UK, Comic Relief is a charity event or a charity that runs through the year, but there's usually a televised event.
It's
Red Nose Day.
Yeah, it's every 2 years.
Every other year.
Yeah.
And so, celebrities, comedians, singers, everyone sort of comes together. Everyone in the country raises money for various causes. So, I'm sure it raised a bit of money for Comic Relief.
Okay, let's talk about Underground Machine next then.
Yeah.
So the reunion nearly fell apart before it had even officially started. Rob became overwhelmed with the whole pop star thing during his Reality Killed the Video Star promo. He sent the other four lads an email just before Christmas saying, "I'm feeling differently about this now. Maybe it's for another year." He later explained, "I wasn't very well physically. I just didn't feel as if I had the energy to do it. It was a scary prospect to be out there amongst something that would be so huge when you're depleted of life force."
Fortunately, Mark went to see Rob in person and played him a couple of the tracks that Stuart Price had already worked some magic on. One being The Flood, the other Underground Machine. Mark told him there was no pressure, but they at least had a start. And while he was there, perhaps he could play Rob what Stuart had done. Within seconds of hearing Stuart's big intro to Underground Machine, Rob was up, dancing around the room, saying, "This is amazing." Mark encouraged Rob to commit to 30 days in the studio, then see how he felt, rather than the daunting cycle of album, promo, tour. And Robbie got back on board. Good old Mark.
Yeah,
good
Mark
Mark.
and
Back
Robbie.
on there.
Yeah, that's gonna mark
Did a
it.
bit of counselling work, got him back in.
He's such a good character, and he's such a he's pulled. Throughout the years, he's really pulled up Robbie up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love seeing them together.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah.
So
Best.
what do you think about Underground Machine then, Angela?
Well, I love how it starts when Happy Now ends, and it goes boo 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 cha cha cha, and it all the beats and they're using they're using their voice as they're using their voice as a musical instrument.
Yeah.
The beatboxers, and so the way the song builds up, and then when it builds up, and then Rob starts singing. So yeah, and then when the song's is amazing. So it makes me laugh. Some of the lyrics make me laugh. You might be good looking, but you can't sleep with yourself tonight.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's got to be one of the best lines on the album.
That is just, and then what a beast, what a man.
Yes.
What a man. I'm imagine there would have been a few banners and all that, but in the just sure, because there's a lot of ideas to come for that song. It's just such it's a powerful song, and it builds in from Happy Now, and and then the bit with the beginning of the song when they talk about you're in a room, just a piece of your pie chart. It made me like that old back in my office. I'm sitting in the office, and I'm just a piece of your pie chart. You're in a room with a rock star.
I love that line. I was going to say that as well.
It just like you can visualise it, and you're in and we're all looking at this pie chart and the presentations, and then like Robbie comes out. You're in a room with a rock star.
Yeah. It's like the record company and looking at them as like a product and the facts and figures, and he's like, hang on a minute, you're in a room with a rock star.
Exactly. Yeah.
They always got a big cheer on the tour as well. I thought that line, you're in a room with a rock star.
Yeah, it did.
Because obviously everyone was in the room with the rock star at the time.
I love that next line that follows, only I play the good parts of a kind heart.
Ah.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a very good song. The lyrics just make me laugh.
Get your head out the library. Get the courage of the cavalry. You might be good looking, but you can't sleep with yourself tonight. It's just brilliant, isn't it?
Makes me laugh. Yeah.
I like the instrumental build up, like you said, Angela, where it builds up and then it gets higher and like higher, and it just incredible, the music on this album.
Yes. You can tell that Robbie's had a big hand in the lyrics here, because there's the dichotomies, there's the opposites, like you might be good looking, but you can't sleep with yourself tonight. You know, he always contrasts things. So I can tell that he's had a hand in that. It's a great build up at the start again. I agree with Angela. The sort of that whole machine sound at the beginning that they're doing, and the build up to it, like, it's like pumping away, and there's a factory pumping away in the background. Yeah. And the lyrics are just there's some just golden lyrics in it. And how they achieved that sound to it, I don't even know.
I know.
Because it's like I don't know how you even begin to develop a song like that, because it's not like a normal song, is it? The way that the lyrics and the vocals are so different.
I had a look. There's no drummer.
No drummer.
No drummer on this song.
Howard, he played the drums and that. He's got because he's got that good beat to him. He's obviously doing the beatboxing and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's like the beatboxing that they had back in '93 and the party tour. So it's like they're doing beatboxing. It's such
it's so good.
Yeah.
So should we go on to What Do You Want From Me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
In early 2010, Mark went to rehab for alcoholism after admitting he'd been unfaithful to his wife Emma before their wedding in 2009. Everyone assumed this song was written following that period. Mark explained, this came through off Gaz, and I just started doing this melody on it one evening. My wife had gone away for that week to like a spiritual kind of place, and I was at home. I suppose when you're on your own, you're thinking about your life, that song came out of it. It came from an insecurity, the song initially, that she'd come back and not want to be with me. It was just a chance to be honest on a record. I wanted to be the person that she wanted to spend the rest of her life with. How can I put this down so that this song will make you know that I want to be the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with?
Q Magazine asked, why put this on the album? Mark replied, well, even now part of me is going, maybe it doesn't have to be on there. It's a song that's always going to be related to a time in my life that was very difficult. But there's another part of me that thinks it's something that I can now move on from after that track. I spoke to Emma about it. The thing is, the song was written before everything came about. It was written as an optimistic song, and then when everything happened, it took on a different connotation. I have to keep reminding myself that it was written looking ahead at a future together. There's mixed feelings in my stomach about it. Do I need to put myself through that? But then it's good to confront things and be open. My hope for me and my relationship with Emma is in that song. I do want us to grow old together. I do fancy her. Those feelings are there, but it's difficult because of what it brings up.
Yeah.
So, Matt, what do you think of this song then?
I think it's one of those songs that I don't like so much on the album.
Oh.
I mean, lovely that Mark has put his heartfelt sort of story into it. And I know you two will be beating me up in a minute for saying that I don't like it so much. But I think out of all of the songs, it's not. Yeah, it's the one that's probably my least favourite on the album. It's good, and the lyrics are heartfelt, and it's good that he's being so open and honest. But yeah, it doesn't do it for me, this one.
Okay, Angela, what do you think?
Mark sings it with so much emotion, and the lyrics is just like you say, it is like an insecure song. But I mean, not just a lot of people can relate to it. I mean, it's like saying, "Do you still want to be with me?" Like that, even after all the years.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, everybody's got their own insecurities. Although they might not say that they haven't, but they have. And it might make people think about, well, where am I going in life? And then, it's like I say, it's quite an emotional song. I mean, Mark, he's got so much soul to him. Yeah.
I as you say, you can really feel the emotion and the personal depth when he's singing it, and it's actually quite unusual for that song to be quite so personal, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm not really personal about this.
No.
No.
I wondered whether it was having Rob involved encouraged him to be more open with his lyrics.
Well, yeah, because Rob's lyrics have always been very vulnerable and open, haven't they? About very,
Yeah, I mean, it sort of makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable listening to it in a way, because it almost feels too personal. But I think, on the other hand, it's actually positive that he was being so open and putting it out there, talking about his feelings.
Yeah.
And hopefully, maybe it encourages other people to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. But because it's not common for men to talk about their feelings. They'll kind of hide it away and show a brave face. But encouraging men to open up and talk about things and not hide away from it. And that's good. There has to be more than that in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. And also a little side note that it's got drums by Carl Brazil again on this track.
Carl was in there again.
Yeah. So I do like it. I like listening to Mark singing though. So yeah, it's just sometimes I feel like it's a bit like too personal. Like I'm intruding on their relationship.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about affirmation next. Howard said, I wanted to make an angry song and I told Gary the idea. We got Ben in to do guitars and I played drums on the demo, and it was really rocky, really fast, and the lyrics were really angry. That's probably the only song that I've helped co-write the lyrics for, because it was about a personal situation of needing affirmation, needing everything to be okay again. Stuart got hold of it and completely took away the guitar, took away the heavy drums, and made it into something different. And the lyrics were all like, no, you can't say that, you can't say that. Robbie replied that it had sounded like a Foo Fighters song originally, and that he'd helped with some of the angry lyrics, which he would have left in. So I don't know what the lyrics were that were taken out, obviously, but intriguing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this song. I just think it's a great kind of dance song, and it suits Howard.
With
his DJ side. It's just perfect for him to be singing on it, and it brings back great memories of the 3 tour when they sung this one, and Howard was in the middle with the drums, and Gary and Mark either side of him on the keyboards with the green lights. And my mum said that was one of her favourite moments of that concert. I don't know why, she just really liked that bit, like the energy of that song.
I feel that some of the lyrics are about take that, and then it was like, I want to fill you with love, I want to see you survive. Just take a minute to notice yourself for the rest of your life. It's just those lyrics. It's just like, it's as with Jason, pull yourself up. We're all together. We're all
because I wrote down, ain't got the strength to fight anymore. Don't even know what I'm fighting you for. Yeah, because they stopped fighting and they've made friends again.
Yeah.
I think you're right there. Matt, what do you think?
It's a real foot tapping song. Clever lyrics, great harmonies, and I actually had to go and look up affirmation because I wanted to think. I really wanted to understand. Well, how do we define an affirmation? And it's the act or instance of affirming or state of being affirmed, or more in easier to understand English, the assertion that something exists or is true, something that is affirmed, a statement or proposition that's declared to be true. So when I look back at the lyrics, I think, I need an affirmation. Basically, I think they're asking for the truth. They're asking for for validation, and I like it when I look at the lyrics, and the whole universe is a question of force and a physical law. We've had this battle 1,000 times. It's just clever. And I think I said to you when we were listening to it, why hasn't Howard sang more lead vocals? Because actually the song very much suits him and he sings it really well. But you said to me that he just enjoys
He says that he likes doing the harmonising.
He does, yeah.
I think he does a great job on this.
Yeah. Okay, should we go on to 8 letters then?
Yeah. So Gary wrote in A Better Me, the day we wrote 8 letters, we found the soul of the album. The whole album lyrically is our story. It's us. Most people, when they think of progress, think of the flood. But for us, the song of the record was 8 letters. The song samples a small part of Vienna by Ultravox, meaning this is the only song on the album that is credited to writers alongside Take That. Gaz sung 8 letters mixed with Vienna with Major from Ultravox at his 40th birthday concert in January 2011, telling the crowd, very early on, we got the guys who wrote it and asked them if we could use it. These things can end up a bit of a nightmare, but they were the sweetest people and they were so lovely with us.
Robbie said, I did realise that what I'd put my stamp on first week, everything was about the breaking of the band and the getting back together again, because I was promoting Reality Killed the Video Star at the time, but my head was in Take That, and any free moment that I wasn't on the TV singing or doing an interview, I was thinking of the lyrics for 8 letters, 3 words, 1 meaning, and it took 3 days. I wanted to so impress the lads. I wanted to encapsulate the saying goodbye, because I'd been really angry in the past about my time in Take That and the boys and what I meant and what I didn't mean, and underneath all that is what you're really saying is, I'm in a lot of pain because I love you, and I think I did it.
The Look Back Don't Stare documentary outlined lots of discussions about the lyrics, particularly between Jason and Robbie, who disagreed over one line which was about Robbie only. Rob detailed the meaning behind some of the words. This is all that matters now, the getting back together. You can look back but don't stare. It was ugly. Maybe I could love you out of there. Perhaps we can get together and heal this shit. What I think is what I forgot to say was I love you. Outside forces didn't make it easy. The enemy, if singing from his point of view, was Oasis, Enemy magazine and Celebrity. They were the soldiers that cleaned the street is about them doing what they were told while in Take That and keeping their mouths shut. One thing after another implies that they were just one boy band after another.
The very first time I went to see Take That was in July 93 at TCC, and there was a hotel right next to the TCC called, well, it's been called a different name, but back then it was called Moat House. and they were staying there then, and apparently from them and there was loads of fans. I can remember standing outside my cell, and there was loads of fans standing outside the hotel. So the only way they could move from the hotel, because there was you couldn't actually walk for the hotel to get to the ACCC. They dressed up as street sweepers.
Oh wow, that was funny.
Trying to get from the hotel to and nobody clicked on. Nobody clicked on. So when you talk about that, and it made me. Oh, I remember that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So that's where that lyric came from.
I don't know. Maybe not, but that was back in July 1993. I don't know if they remember that far back.
So Robbie originally sung the lead, which you can hear on the deluxe copy of Take the Crown. Mark described how they listened to the album and got to the end before realising Gary didn't have a lead vocal. Gary joked, "Where's that sprinkling of platinum across the top of this record?" everyone said at the same time. Mark said, "For me, it comes full circle. Back to Gaz is singing the last song in a spiritual sense. I love the fact that Gary sings a song that is about Rob's story. That's the twist." So who wants to go first on 8 letters? Angela? Go on.
So this is just such a beautiful song. The lyrics in it are just so beautiful. I get where Jay's coming from. There is like the outside forces didn't make it easy, and that line, you would think it if you weren't you were a Take That fan. You weren't a big fan of Robbie. As about Rob, no, that's about Robbie. But yeah, so the most of it is to do with Take That though. It's like it does feel like the story of Take That coming from
Robbie's point of view.
Yeah, it could be like Robbie's, but it is like from all of their point of view. I think. Yeah, this all matters now. That all that happened. Anyhow, it's like for the 5 of them, because it can't be easy. Back in 1995, like 96, so within that period of time, for them all, it can't be.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, I was glad that there was a nice ballad at the end of the album, because there hadn't really been any ballads yet.
Yeah, it seems to work.
It slows it down, and like I say, the whole album just flows together. Stuart Bryce did an amazing job, but he
God, yeah.
Oh, he is a good producer. I love him when he did the Killer stuff. Yeah, it's like creditable. I didn't actually. I know he did some Madonna, but I didn't realise he did Kylie as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it is perfect that Gary's singing it as well.
Yeah, it's good.
And I do love Rob's version, but I do really like Gary's version.
Yes.
It's just I think the lyrics are a masterpiece by Rob. We were once the answer, and then you discover you actually just one thing after another. You know, what was the question, and why was the lesson so deafening?
Yeah, people just shout at them and like, "Stop!" And you were like, "No, I can't do this anymore."
Yeah, self-preservation was no explanation for anything. I mean, that line says a lot, doesn't it?
Yes.
All trying to sort of just survive, weren't they, really?
Yeah.
But that's not really an excuse for maybe how they treated each other at the time.
Yeah.
You know, looking back, they can see that now.
Yeah.
And I love the line, "I'm just starting to understand my friend." Because now they're finally understanding each other.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's just so many amazing lyrics.
It's just a collection of geniuses, I think. The whole album's a collection of geniuses.
Yeah.
I think it is. I totally agree. And I love there's something that I like about there's like a purposely distorted keyboard intro at the beginning. That's kind of, it's sort of slightly off, and it just sort of pulls you in. It's a beautiful song and a powerful song, incredible lyrics. I mean, 8 letters, 3 words, 1 meaning. I mean, that is genius songwriting.
Yeah.
If just when you think every love song in the book has already been written, that lyric comes out, and you just think that's so clever.
Yeah.
It really is. And then I was watching what I thought was an 8 Letters video recently that was on the official Take That channel, but it was it was cut from the Live Progress tour.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to move on to talking about the tour in a moment, but that particular video shows what an incredible production and tour it actually was. You know, just a huge production. So, yeah, lovely song.
The line, "So I thought I'd go before you leave me." Was that the line that Jason and Robbie were arguing over? I can't remember.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it was that one. I think it was more.
I don't know in the documentary whether the line was actually revealed.
No.
I think he was just going, yeah, but that line's about you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think they did say which line they were talking about. But it was about this song.
But
so
that line, obviously Robbie left. Or he was sacked, however you look at it.
Well, I mean, we don't really know because there's a lot of things that, he just said, he said he wanted to go, and he said, and then he said he was going to, I was going to do a 6 months notice, and then he left one day and said, I'm going to go, I'm going to go now,
But also that
and
line...
then there was a bit with Jason saying, he said, don't, no offence, but rather you just go now. So, I mean, what was really said then? I mean, you're saying one thing and then you're saying another thing. So come on, tell us the truth. What was really said? When we're all adults now. We're all adults now.
I would imagine they were talking about that line, though.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd go before you leave me. Seems to...
Well, it's just that also that line, because Rob was saying, but it can be about anything. It can be about the band. I actually agree with Rob that it could be about the band because the band always wanted to go out while they were on top.
Yes, that's right.
So it could actually be about I, as in the band, want to quit before you, the fans, leave us.
Yeah,
and
that's true because I remember them when they split. They said, well, we always wanted to go when we were on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, back in February 6. Yeah.
So I agree with Rob that it wasn't just about him.
No. Well, he stood his ground and it stayed in anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I think so.
But yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful song. And
it is. It's an incredible song.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So,
and as Angela said, or you said, I think one of you said, it was perfectly positioned on the album.
Yeah.
Often albums start with a ballad or something, slow. And this just fits there really well.
Yeah. So then moving on to Flower Bed.
Yeah.
Secret track.
So this is Jason's final lead vocal with Take That. In Look Back, Don't Stare, Rob said, I think what's missing from the album is one of the songs like Mark's We're Sleeping in the Flower Bed, something a bit quirky. So it was evidently written by Mark and it was a late addition to the track list.
And that's all we know about it.
No.
But I love a Jason.
Yeah, me too. It's such a beautiful song.
Miss Jason.
The way it seems sad now when you look back. It's the very last song of Program, and it's the last song with Jason. Yeah, it's quite sad when you think about it, but it's a beautiful song though. And it's like he's saying to his somebody saying to their girlfriend or their wife that I'm sorry for being like that. I was busy. I was hanging about with my friends. I was doing this with that. And please forgive me. I'm not normally like this. Yeah.
I never really understood the flower bed metaphor though.
I think as well he was slowly getting out of his head and he ended up out of his mind. And so if the song is about getting shit-faced and getting out of your head and getting out of your mind, then, maybe you're on your way home and you fall into the flower bed and you sleep in the flower bed. I was thinking it was about being out of it.
Yeah.
That's how I took it, sleeping in the flower bed. Yeah. I was enjoying myself sleeping in your flower bed. But, I guess it's got multiple meanings. People have been known to sleep in gardens before when they've been a bit inebriated, Was it about Mark's struggles and
It probably is about Mark's. I think it is.
I thought the song, I mean, I don't know where I just thought this. I don't think it was in the documentary, but I assumed it was around Mark's alcoholism and sort of rehab sort of time.
Yeah,
but maybe it
I'd
wasn't.
guess.
Maybe it was just about life struggles in general. I don't know. But yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It's got an ethereal feel to it.
Oh, that's deep, Lucy.
But then it is very deep. So it is a very deep song.
It's very deep.
It certainly is.
So that's perfect for Jay. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Because he is a very deep and metaphorical. I mean, I can't say that. I don't know the word to describe it. It's very deep and very
philosophical.
Yeah, that's exactly exactly what I say. Yeah.
Still waters run deep.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And I just want to say that, Jason, we all miss you and we hope that you are happy.
Yeah,
you're doing.
We hope you're doing okay. Everybody, I think everybody I speak to and all the Take That fans, we all miss Jay. Everybody's like that. We do miss, everybody does miss Jay, but we all think, I hope he's doing all right. What doesn't help when the tabloids come out and say all these different things, and all the bands just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Yeah. He's decided what he wants to do, and
that's what he wants. He wants a semi-normal life.
There's not going to change his mind. I don't think the guys are going to change his mind either. I mean, only he will. If he does want to come back, he'll change his mind. We can't do it for him. He will know. Only he will know. But we just hope. As long as he knows that we are all for him and we're all supporting him and everything. Yeah, because I remember that night when it was announced that Jason wanted to leave the band. Me and my friends were at the Ryder Cup concert in Glasgow, and we was towards the end of the concert, I think, because the Take That band are playing them, because it was Kim Gavin that was doing the dancing and all that, doing the production of it, and I remember they were walking by us, and I remember them saying to my friends, they didn't even speak to them, so they must have knew something was going to happen that night. And then I remember we came out and we were like, talking about it. We could believe it. It's not like we didn't expect this to happen. It's not like we knew after Robbie, we knew Take That weren't going to be. But it's like, I remember being sitting in one of the pubs, and I was sitting with Lisa and Laura, and we were all discussing about what's going to happen now, and are they going to carry on? I'm like, they should carry on. I mean, there's nothing to stop them, and I think it was all a big thing. Should we carry on? And then everybody, the Twitter, come on, we can do this. So I think if we didn't have that, then they might have to split up. But it's hard to think about it like that, because they were still doing all right, and the stuff that they've done since then is still really good. And even Rob's come back and did the Flood with them, singing with the four of them.
Yeah. So should we talk about Progress Live?
Yeah.
So Progress Live is still the biggest tour in UK Ireland history, selling 1.8 million tickets for 29 sold-out stadiums, grossing over 100 million at the box office. It cost 15 million to produce, and Billboard magazine reckoned the boys earned nearly £8 million each. They broke a Guinness World Record for the most tickets sold in 24 hours in the UK at 1.34 million. Robbie holds his worldwide record of selling 1.6 million tickets in a day, though. The success of Progress Live meant the tour was third in Billboard magazine's top 25 tours of 2011.
8 million quid each is not bad. Bit of pocket money. Take That hold the record for the highest grossing concert residency at Wembley, having played a record 8 nights. They sold 623,737 tickets, to be precise, and grossed 38 million. They beat Michael Jackson's previous record of 7 nights for his 1988 Bad tour. As Rob later played 4 nights there in 2013 on his Take the Crown tour, it means he's played the stadium more than any other artist. The tour opened in Sunderland on the 27th of May, where they played 4 nights. They did 8 nights in Manchester, 2 in Cardiff, 2 in Dublin, 3 in Glasgow, 2 in Birmingham, and finished with 8 nights at Wembley.
They played 6 dates in Europe, in Milan, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Hamburg, Dusseldorf and Munich. However, the Copenhagen date was cancelled a few hours beforehand as Rob got food poisoning. This was the first time Take That had ever cancelled a concert. They said they felt the fans would be dissatisfied to receive the concert without Robbie. And my cousin actually went all the way to Copenhagen to go to that concert because she'd been unable to get London tickets. She was absolutely furious.
Whoa.
And mainly with Robbie. And she said that Take That should have gone on without him, and she has never been to see Take That since.
Oh my God! Well, funny how you mentioned that, because I know a few people, quite a crowd of few people that went to Copenhagen, and that was all their lad. They had seen them Take That over around the UK, but they went. Copenhagen was the last one, and they were absolutely gutted. They were raging. They said that they could have. Take That should have went on without Robbie, and that as a result they hate Robbie.
Yeah, that's the problem. But he had food poisoning.
Oh, but
what can they do?
The show would have been a lot shorter as well.
It wouldn't have worked.
He had a lot of his own songs in it, so
half an hour.
They couldn't have prepared anything else. You know,
it would have been too difficult.
Complicated,
for them,
yeah,
to work it out.
I don't know that.
I can see both sides of the story there. Both sides of the argument. Yeah. The band was musical director Mike Stevens on keyboards, guitar and sax, Gary Nuttall and Milton MacDonald on guitar, Lee Pomeroy on bass, Donovan Hepburn on drums, and Jamie Norton and Bernie Smith on keyboards. It was nice to see Rob's loyal guitarist Gary Nuttall included.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
The concept and stage were designed by Take That Kim Gavin and Ez Devlin. It was designed to look like a circuit board with 5 lines going along the walkway, one breaking off for a bit, then returning. It showed the evolution of man with the £1.5 million robot called Om moving from sitting to standing during the show. The idea of Om was turned down by 3 companies who said it was impossible. Following the Progress tour, their production manager was poached by Beyoncé for her world tour. Om is the Sanskrit word for mantra, which is meant to be the sound of God. Om apparently didn't like the rain, and Gary said he felt human as he seemed to have good and bad days, so he renamed him Tom. Twice Howard and Mark had to be rescued from Om by ladders or a cherry picker.
That's right.
At the end of the tour, Mark wanted them to gift him to the city of Manchester, but Rob requested him. Mark asked Rob if he wanted Om out of ego, but Rob got him in the end and put him in his garden in Wiltshire, where he used to go and talk to him.
Yeah.
But the burning question is, what has happened to Om now that Rob has sold his Wiltshire house?
Where is Om go? Or is it still there?
Is he still there? I think you just give him, like, with Mark and give it to Manchester, because that would be like you know how like you've got like in Sunderland you've got the Angels event.
Angel of the North.
Angel of the North, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also, and there's different, you've got the Kelpies up in Falkirk, just along the road from me. That would be, if they had that next to a motorway or something like that, that would be, and put it in near Manchester, near the M56, but maybe the M56, you put it near there. I don't remember because it's near the airport, but somewhere near there. It would be that would be perfect. I think Rob, you should give it to Manchester.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows the whereabouts of Om, let us know. If they've seen it going up the motorway on the back of a lorry. Any listeners know? Let us know. I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
The five would huddle before the four went on stage. Rob would watch Take That from the sidelines and ensure he caught a piece of yellow ticker tape every night. Otherwise, he feared it would all go to shit. Brilliant. To open his solo section, he was catapulted onto the stage from a door in the top of the screen in a harness.
Yeah.
When the five joined each other for the final hour of the show, they'd start at the top of the stage, except for the one that Angela saw, with Rob doing a controlled upside-down descent while the others came down in lifts. Rob is always the risk taker in the name of entertainment.
What was he? Gary, I remember back then, Gary deciding it's the guy, what was it? The guy, something. It was the guy that used to always do the stunts, a stunt guy back in the 70s.
Oh, I don't know.
Evel Knievel?
Well, maybe that, but it was a program. It was a program.
The Fall Guy?
Fall Guy, that's it. The Fall Guy. The guy described it, but I remember Guy decided it's the Fall Guy. The guy that did the stunts, and I can't remember the actor's name, but yeah.
I know you mean.
Yeah.
Robbie's basically the Fall Guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Gary reckons they got some things wrong, like splitting the show into 3 parts meant Take That had a half-hour interval while Rob did his solo stuff. He said, I'd come off night after night unfulfilled, but what could we do? The only alternative was to put Rob through the same. One of us had to go through it. It ended up being us. That tour was an experiment on an epic scale. Could it be done? Yes. Was it a moment? Yes. Did we get stuff wrong? Definitely. And the lesson we learned? Once you're on, you stay on. Pop music has no intervals.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
No, it doesn't. The anxiety Rob felt about touring after his Reality Killed the Video Star promo disappeared. When I'm with the boys and we're on stage, you get to look at the audience and take it all in, as opposed to when I'm by myself, I'm constantly thinking of what to do next, how to present myself next, what face to pull, etc. And before you know it, you've been thinking and concentrating for 2 hours. But with the boys, it doesn't feel like you're giving too much of yourself. It doesn't feel like you're being drained. I did 27 minutes by myself and the audience responded incredibly, and it just gave me a boost. Because after the 2006 tour, ending up in rehab and losing the confidence, it was the boost I needed to go, yeah, see, you can do this, you knobhead. I know you've just spent 3 years in your own head going, you've lost it, but there it was. The audience still goes mad, and I generated it, and it felt good.
Yeah.
He also said, my fave bit so far is being with the boys watching somebody else sing a lead, being able to look around the stadium, take it all in, and glory in the fact we're all getting along. When we do Pray, I'm just constantly amazed how much people love it when everybody spins. Spin and the place goes fucking mental. Always bemuses me, confuses me, and makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I love the Pray routine. It was incredible, wasn't it?
I learned it back in the day. I can't do it now because it hurt my knees. But yeah, I remember learning to do that. I remember watching it moment by moment and learning how to do that.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
Gary revealed initially everyone was worried about Rob. Will he make it through? Will he get to the end? But he's been stoic about the whole thing. He's really back where he was in 2002. He's got that presence again. He's really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Gary later wrote in his book, being around Rob was great for us all. It was constant celebration, but it brought out some insecurities in me. Watching Rob spring onto the stage with virtually no rehearsal, having just put out his last fag, and then proceeding to slay the audience was frankly annoying. That's not me. We are both performers to our bones, but our approach to getting a great performance could not be more different. I'll do 6 weeks of rehearsals. I'll know what I'm singing and where I'm standing for every moment of the show. Mm-hmm. I depend on preparation. Rob just rocks on there. You can't help but feel like he's better. Wow.
Oh, no.
Gary said that.
Yeah, I know, but
Different styles.
Gary's still a good performer. And, yeah, and Gary likes everything precise. Rob just
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
right, I can get in and just do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a definite divide between some Robbie and Take That fans. Take That even noticed it, to the point Rob once stopped the show to say to a girl, "What's with the face like a slapped arse?
I remember
If
that
Gary
night.
can forgive me, so can you."
Whoa,
Yeah, I remember that night.
what a good point.
I was there that night. He
Where was that?
I remember that was, in fact, it was the second night in Glasgow, and he did say, "What's the matter with you?" Because she just looked stared at him like she was like really really annoyed. Obviously our favourite was Mark, but yeah, she just stared at him like that, and she went. No,
Did she?
No, he went to her because I've actually got a photo and going like that.
2 fingers up.
Yeah.
Angela's putting 2
So
fingers
sorry,
up.
he stuck 2 fingers up at her.
Yeah, you did, yeah. I've got the photo. He went like that.
2-fingered salute.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
He was like
Brilliant,
that.
Rob.
Oh, I was just. I remember that and being like that, and I was like, what? That is. I mean,
That is funny.
But it did. I know it did divide a lot of Take That fans because a lot of them
Yeah.
like Robbie coming back, but
Well, one of the things was the fact that he was swearing, wasn't he, on stage, and there was a lot of fans had taken their children and they were
He was
covering
swearing,
their
yeah.
children's ears when he was on stage because he was swearing. I remember that.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know about that, but I know that someone didn't like it.
Well, he's not going to not be himself, is he? I mean, that was the whole point of him having his own section of the show to be himself and to do it. And I suspect he expected it, that divide.
He called them Take That fundamentalists. And also, it did annoy me as well that a lot of Take That fans complained, saying Robbie was on for too long. Take That
minutes.
didn't have as much time as him, but that was actually wrong. They had exactly the same time.
It was equal.
It was.
Yeah, it was equal.
They did it perfectly to make it equal. They had the half an hour. He had half an hour. They had
together.
5 songs. He had 5 songs, and then they were all together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just some people just like to slag him off.
So what are your memories of the tour then?
Well, I went 3 times. I was seated twice. I went with Natalie from episode 1.
Yes.
And she was like 8 months pregnant then.
Oh my goodness.
So I think we had planned to stand. We had standing tickets, but she obviously couldn't. So we ended up sitting in the unreserved seats at the side, which were still really good. And then the other time we planned to have seats because we were going to take our mums. Because we'd always said if Take That ever got back together, we'd take our mums to show them what it was all about and why we were obsessed with Take That when we were teenagers. And so we did. We took our mums, and Natalie's sister and my brother came with us, and we were right at the top of the stadium. I think there was about 3 rows behind us at the side, but still had a great time because they put on such a good show.
Oh yeah,
you can it doesn't matter where you are in the stadium.
Like a party atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
It was like, different having a bird's eye view of it, looking down, because you could see all of the stage design better and things, which you couldn't see from standing.
I suppose you would have seen a better view of the B stage because of the...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The chessboard effect and all of that on it. You could see all of that really nicely.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But then the other time that we went, I went with Matt, and we queued. That was my one and only time standing. And so I do remember messaging my friend Kat and saying, right, we've got one opportunity to stand.
Wembley, by the way?
Wembley.
Yeah, Wembley, yeah. Where
should I stand to get the best chance of getting close to Robbie for when he comes around during 8 letters and also when he goes over your head. So she told us an exact point to stand, and then Matt ran on ahead of me.
I'm the runner at concerts. You're not allowed to run. Obviously, no one runs at concerts.
But back then, people did run.
Yeah.
And so...
They can't catch me, so it's
the running man.
So Matt ran on ahead, and he literally stood exactly where I told him to stand. And,
good boy.
So, of course, when they came round at the end of 8 letters, Gary came past first, I think.
Yeah.
And then Robbie.
And then,
Of course, Robbie shakes Matt's hand.
Of course he does.
Always Matt, because my arm's not long enough.
No, but I was trying to get you out as far as I could as well. But my hand is slightly longer. My arm is slightly longer than yours.
oh,
Yes, so it's funny to see them when they come round, because obviously they're singing along, but you hear the huge volume of their voices from the audio in the stadium, but then they're there in front of you. It's very weird. It's a very weird thing.
But we got a really great video of that moment of Gary and Mark and Robbie coming past us, and we put that on YouTube at the time, and Robbie's official Twitter retweeted it, and it ended up getting like 12,000 views, and there's a nice bit where Robbie kisses a girl, and never found out who she was, but it's on YouTube.
Is that on what date was it? London?
You'll have to put a link to it.
It was like one of the July dates, 2nd of July or something.
Right. Wouldn't it be me, because I didn't go to London. I didn't.
No, I definitely don't recognise the girl that he kissed.
When this episode goes out, we'll put it out on our socials. We'll put the link out to that video so that people can see Robbie shaking my hand.
Yeah.
And
Lucy wasn't pleased about it. She was like, "What?" Because they go by pretty quick, don't they? They don't hang about. They're trying to see as many people as possible.
But it was so cute how Mark would cover himself with all of the gifts from everyone, the hats and glasses and scarves.
He absolutely covered himself. Remember that in Manchester when the second time I seen him.
So, Angela, you went 5 times.
Yeah, I did. I went.
So, where did you go in your 5 times?
I went
tell us how it was.
Sunderland, the second night in Sunderland. I actually, I wasn't working at the time, so but I had the job I had before. I had got 2 tickets one for Manchester on the 10th of June, and then one for last night at Hampden in Glasgow, and I ended up getting another few tickets because I had some money saved up. But then at that point, although I wasn't working, I had a temporary job like a couple of weeks after. Just in between we were before starting a new job at the end of June. Anyway, so I went down to Sunderland a couple of days before the tour started. And I actually stood outside the Stadium of Light and listened to them rehearse. I remember seeing Robbie arrive, and I remember hearing Gary singing. But he goes, 1, 2, 3, and then I tried to peek through one of the doors to see what was going on. And you could see them at the side of the videos and that. So the first night I went was with Sunderland. It was the second night, and I arrived at 6 in the morning. There were people that camped over, but there wasn't a big queue. And then as the duty went on, there was more people arriving, and I ended up being in the right side of the stage, their left side, and that was the night. Obviously, they couldn't come down because it was so windy. I loved seeing. I liked the whole bit of them doing the 4 and then doing Robbie, because I hadn't seen Robbie since Close Encounters back in Glasgow. Yeah. But I actually remember that night when he did the Rudebox, and everybody just stood there, and because I think none of us knew what to expect with Rudebox back then, because I have got pictures when they, and then underneath that track he had a Scotland top on.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the second night I saw them in Manchester, I drove down to Manchester. But again, there wasn't a big queue or anything like that. I got there, I met people in the queue and everything, and I stood up there at the B stage with the corner, and somebody gave me a Robbie face mask because they knew I was a Robbie fan, and I love Hold Up Your Light. I love that song. I love how the crowd goes mental for that.
Yeah, I love that.
At the end of the concert, when they did Make Letters Now Come Down, and it shakes everybody's hand. So Gary comes down, and then Robbie comes down, and Robbie and he actually grabbed my hand and he kissed my hand, And I just stood there. I was in shock because I've been a fan for so long, and that was the first ever encounter I had with Rob. I never ever. He hadn't seen. Well, probably had seen me at the concerts before his concert because I had come quite close, but never at Barrier. But my first take that Barrier experience was at Progress. I had anyway. So he had grabbed my hand, and there is a video where you see him grab my hand and kiss my hand. And then, so the next concerts I seen them on all 3 dates in Glasgow. Again, I was all standing on the various bits around I was at the first night. I was at B stage at the front, the B stage. It was absolutely pouring the rain. They actually didn't use on that night because it was so wet. Because it was dry all day, and it absolutely poured down the whole concert. I mean, it was soaking wet. They didn't have any flashing jackets.
Oh yeah.
So it rained in Scotland.
Very funny. It always rains at tour time, Matt. You just know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, and then the second day was absolutely scorching. It was so warm, and I remember being at the front. I remember being at the front of the stage. Again, that was the night. The second night, Robbie stuck up his 2 fingers at the fan. And then the third night, again, I was like at the corner where they did the beating, and I had a See You Jimmy hat, but it's a See You Jimmy hat. I don't know if anyone remembers Ross Abbott back in the 80s, and he always used when he dressed up as
the comedian on TV, Ross Abbott,
and he dressed up as a Highland, somebody from Scotland, and you used to take mickey out of people for Scotland, and you had to See You Jimmy hat with ginger hair.
Is it a tartan coloured top and ginger hair out the sides?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So there was you get them a lot in Glasgow. You can buy them in stalls and that. And I thought, and I remember back in when they take that tours in 2006, somebody when they walked through the stage, through the crowd, they came back wearing See You Jimmy hats. And I thought, I'm going to try and give that to Rob, or give it to one of the guys anyway. So when I seen it, Rob seen it, and he took the hat and he put it on, and he stood back to me to take a photo, and I was like that, and my hand was really shaking, and like like that. He just went like that, and he walked along the rest of the stage, the rest of the crowd. But you can see him walk when he got to the stage, and then some of them, when they got to the top, some of them take off the what they were wearing and everything.
Yeah.
Mark didn't. He kept on wearing it.
Yeah.
Mark, when they got to the top on the stage, when they sang the last line, Rob still had the See You Jimmy hat on, and Gary had the Scotland flag round him, blue and white one. And I remember it looked like Gary and Robbie were sharing a joke because Robbie had this hat on. That was just amazing. That would probably be my first encounter with Rob, because I didn't have all that back in, even when I was going to see him when at East Elf back in 2002. I mean, I would get close enough, but I would never get Barrier.
I was going to ask if you had a picture of Robbie with the See You Jimmy hat.
Yeah, I have.
Because we'd love to, if you don't mind, we'd love to include it on the episode webpage, so that people can see what you're talking about. Because I think it's worth seeing it.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, there was remember around me people were trying to take pictures, but because it was so pandemonium, everybody was trying to lunge at yourself as well. You had people behind you like just pushing, and that. Oh, it's just.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give you that. Yeah. It was such, and then when that was the last concert, I never done anything after that because I was starting a new job, and but it was just so good to see the 5 of them on stage again.
It was incredible.
Well, you did a night for every one of them. 5 for 5. There you go. It was meant to be. I mean, Lucy's told you've explained our experience really, but I was enjoying watching the DVD recently and just looking at the massive production of it. I mean, you know, what was it? £1.5 million for Om.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was all just incredibly amazing, just supersized everything. But I've just written down, I won't read them all out, don't worry, Lucy, but I've just written down a few highlights of what I saw. I loved the first mini interval that they had where there was lots of strange and wonderful characters coming out on stage. And then Mark's there riding a giant caterpillar.
Yeah.
and then one little bit I noticed, and I pointed to Lucy, and obviously we must have not seen this because there was so much going on the stage, so many actors, so many dancers, acrobats, all sorts. True. There was this bloke with a grandfather clock strapped to his back and a black cape, and he goes around. He's sort of wandering about like almost like sort of drunk style, and then this other guy pulls his black cape off, and as he pulls it off, the guy's disappeared. He's gone. Now I did have to sort of analyze it. He'd sort of gone through a trapdoor in the stage, but it looked incredible.
Yeah.
And then it was just visual feast of stuff going on. And then you had Rob on Rock DJ, and I remember all the dancing girls with flags coming out, and I'm sure Rob looked a little bit happier with all that company on the stage, you know.
Yeah, of course you did.
And then the bit after Angels where Robbie just does this like comedy fall backwards and he's disappeared as well. I thought that was cool.
Well, we haven't mentioned the crane going over the crowd where he's going over everyone.
What else as well? See, before the concert started was like the Naughty Professor, and he went and he did the thing when he tried to bring up the thing. He tried to plug things in to make things work, and then that's what I countdown. And then it
really builds the atmosphere.
It built up. It really did build it up, because when you knew that guy after the Pet Shop Boys finished, they came, and then the guy came up with the keyboard and the B stage and then tried to make things work like a Chris Fest, and you can see him how it all. I mean, take that go. See, when it comes to a show, they go all out with the show.
Oh,
I mean, every that show I've seen, they go all out, and that's what makes it a really great live performance. To see, it's not just a concert. It's like a big show.
It's a show.
Yeah. And
I'd forgotten about the Pet Shop Boys. I mean, who on earth has the Pet Shop Boys as a support act?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just phenomenal in its own right.
I like the Pet Shop Boys too. I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all the stuff back in the 80s and some of the.
And then I was thinking about other bits, you know. So obviously Robbie was singing Rude Box as the boys did some break dancing on the chessboard. I thought that was gold.
Yeah,
and then Lucy reminded me they went into Apache and they did an old one from Tech Days.
I like that. Yeah, and then Hubbard and Jason were doing the break dancing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were incredible. Yeah. I mean, that just shows that they can still do it. Well, I don't know about now, but they I'm sure they can. And then in Pretty Things, I noted that Howard's wearing Kylie Minogue's white all-in-one outfit from Can't Get You Out of My Head. If you remember that. I just said to Lucy, why is he wearing Kylie Minogue's outfit? What's going on? I know it's not the same, but it looks similar. And then towards the end, I mean, obviously the sing-along at the piano was good, but Om coming out for Love down the middle of the catwalk. I mean,
and then standing
unbelievable.
They never forget. Never forget.
Yeah. And we saw one of the times where it didn't get stuck. So
we were lucky.
Yeah. I mean, I saw them every time, apart from the night, it absolutely poured down rain. But every time it worked, and it was just. I mean, I remember watching the DVD, and the way that Om comes up and he does the whole "Never Forget." So I'm doing the "Never Forget" Adam. So it's just amazing to watch it. And it was, I mean, I wish I had done more nights, but obviously you can't do it all. You can't
No. I wish we had, but Chloe was only 6 months old.
Yeah,
or 5 months old. So
it was
a bit tricky.
Yeah, it was the timing of Chloe being so young at that time.
Yeah.
It was a bit unfair, wasn't it? But it's lovely watching it back on the DVD. I mean, it's just an incredible, like you say, Angela. It's a show. It's and for them to still walk away with £8 million each, they got the finances right. That's all I would say. They filled the stadiums. They spent a lot of money on it, and it was well worth the ticket price, I think.
Profit. As well. Yeah.
So we probably should move on to choosing our favourite songs.
Yeah, we're at that point of the show,
shouldn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to pick a favourite song from the album, and we always allow our guests to go first. So, Angela, would you like to pick a song and say why you've chosen it?
Well, actually, I had a few. I did when I spoke to you the other night. I did, but actually, I've got a few now. I'm like, so it's between The Flood, 8 Letters, and Flowerbed. I would probably, my favourite would be The Flood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, because it's, for me, it was a whole bit coming back to take that, and not seeing, I still went to see the Nobody Else tour back in 95. And so some of the bits, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still good. It was still good to see Take That, and it was still really a bit grieving of Robbie leaving Take That back then. But I was not going to go and see Take That, even though Robbie had left. So having them all as a 5, coming back as a 5, and then the whole build up, and then seeing Look Back Don't Stay, and then seeing them as on the X Factor, I still watch the X Factor, and I still get the same emotions from it watching the Floods. And
I think that's a very strong justification for why you've chosen The Flood. Which one of us is going to go next?
I'll go if you want.
Go on then, because Angela's made it easier for me. So
okay.
I'll explain why in a moment.
So I'm going to be choosing Kids for obvious reasons. It's got big sentimental value, and it's just a great song. And you'd think that I'd be choosing one that Robbie sings, but no, I love Mark as well. So I love Kids. It's just a banger.
Yes. And that memory will forever be emblazoned into our minds.
Yes.
Being in the delivery theatre.
Yeah.
Chloe popping out. So, interestingly, I was saying to Lucy just before we started this episode, Angela, that probably it would be between Kids, The Flood, or 8 Letters for me. So because you've chosen The Flood, it makes it easier for me, and you've chosen Kids. So it's 8 Letters.
Oh,
good.
Has to be. I mean, just a genius song.
Yeah.
Super amazing lyrics. And in fact, people should be talking more about it because it is just such a good song.
I think it should.
Now,
I think it should have been released as a single. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the dilemma with us being a Robbie Williams Rewind podcast is, do we put Gary's version?
Yeah, we put Gary's version.
Robbie's version?
Because this is progress.
Oh, okay. I don't want to upset any Take That fans. Yes.
But we may choose 8 Letters for the Take the Crown episode, Robbie's version. You never know.
Oh, well, that could happen, of course.
Yeah.
It's not as if we've already recorded that or anything.
No.
I
can't remember what we chose anyway.
So, yeah, there we go. So The Flood, Kids, and 8 Letters going onto the playlist.
Excellent. So just to say to everyone, thanks for listening. Do check out our social media and follow us on there. If people would like to follow us on social media, that'd be great, because it just shows that to potential, people who've worked with Robbie that we might like to get on as guests.
Always helps.
It just helps.
And I would also say to those Take That fans who are maybe dipping into this episode for the first time, there's how many more before this? What number is this?
This is number 18.
18. So there's 17 other episodes you can go back and listen to that map Robbie's solo career all the way through. So if you are listening to this for the first time, go back and have a listen to those as well.
So tune in to the next episode when we'll be joined by Robbie tribute artist Dan Budd, who also appeared on Take That's Let It Shine TV show. We'll be talking about Progressed, the second disc of new songs that was released in 2011, as well as a few collaborations that Rob recorded in 2011 to 2012.
Yeah, so tune in for that one with Dan Budd. So, just before we wrap up this episode, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. And also, Lucy and I would really appreciate it if you can leave us a star rating. You can do this on both Apple and Spotify podcasts. We would also love it if you could write us a short review, and you can do this on Apple. Don't forget, you can check out our episode notes for each episode and links to all tracks and videos at robbiewilliamsrewind.com. You can also email us at email@robbiewilliamsrewind.com. Please also follow and chat on our social channels. It's at Rewind Robbie on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. And you can also like and follow our Facebook page, Robbie Williams Rewind. And before we return to this episode, you might also consider sending us one of your own Robbie stories for the show. Just record a short audio clip on your phone and email it to us. Please check the website for more details. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So, Angela, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. Your fandom for Take That and Robbie, all of them together, is incredible. And it's lovely to hear all of your stories over the years and hear your adventures with Take That and with Robbie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Right.
thank you, Angela.
So thanks, Angela. Really nice chatting.
We'll see you soon. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed doing this episode with you.
That's okay.
That's
It's a pleasure.
Very much so.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye.
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 Robbie Williams Rewind.